Hey guys, you are watching your anime world. How are you all? Please support to subscribe this channel for watching new interesting stories. So in this video, we will see what if Deku was born early and taught class 1A. Here is short summary. Izuku Midoriya is a young quirkless boy with desires to become a hero even though everyone treats him less than dirt. This changes when Izuku saves a blue man in a weird outfit. He's an alien. As a thank you to Izuku, he is taken to a planet called Yardrat where he will learn many techniques and abilities to finally achieve his goal in becoming the #1 hero. But before we start, if you want more stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe and like this video. And if possible, share this video with your friends. Now let's start the story. Izuku Midoriya, you know the story. Not all men are created equal. Blah blah blah, but what if the sludge villain attacked someone else instead? Izuku Midoriya has had probably the worst day in a while. His journal was burned, he was attacked by a villain, and now All Might the #1 hero didn't believe in him. How can this day get any worse? When he saw who the sludge villain again, how I thought All Might stopped him and the villain was holding hostage. It was a small blue man. It looks like they've met their match. Plus, the villain captured some blue guy. Things aren't looking good for him, said multiple bystanders. Why isn't All Might doing anything? Wait. He can't power up yet. And none of the other heroes have the quirks to stop the sludge monster. It's my fault. I'm sorry. So sorry. All Might help will show up and save the day. I'm sure someone, a hero, will come soon, Izuku thinks. If he dies, it's all my fault. If I could do something. Wait. My legs, they are moving on their own. Izuku ran towards the villain, a thing that none of the heroes they're done just watching the man die. No, you idiot, stop, you're gonna get yourself killed, said multiple heroes, worrying for the boy. What am I doing? Why am I running? Why can't I stop? Midoriya asked himself. Midoriya was in front of the villain trying his all to save the blue man. That's it, I have had enough, said the sludge villain, clearly pissed at the green-haired boy. Izuku thought it was all over, his life and hopes, until he appeared, All Might. I really am pathetic. Everyone is always testing themselves, throwing themselves into danger for the greater good, as that is the sign of a true hero, All Might yelled with enthusiasm, getting ready to use his signature attack. Detrawatt Smash. All Might punched the sludge villain with such power that it changed the weather. Afterwards, after being scolded by some people for being so reckless, walked home and even met Bakugo. Saw you down there helping that blue guy. Stop trying to be a hero, you were just getting in All Might's way. Got it, Deku? Bakugo yelled at Izuku and quickly left. Izuku was confused by Bakugo's sudden appearance. Suddenly the blue man from the sludge villain incident suddenly appeared. Why, you just came out of nowhere, is that your quirk? Izuku said, shocked by the small blue man. Greetings, I am Paibara from the planet of Yardrat. I came to this planet to examine human culture. I gotta say, I am impressed with Earth, especially the heroes. But most importantly, I have come to thank you for helping me against the villain, the Yardratian introduced himself. Wait, you're an alien, they exist. But why come to me? I got in the way of All Might. Why me? Izuku was extremely shocked by the existence of aliens. Well, you did save me when others just sat there. Now let me offer you something. Young Paibara asked for the young boy's name. Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya, Izuku answered. Well, Midoriya, how would you like to train under me on my home plane as thank you for saving me? Paibara said. What? Said Izuku in confusion. Chapter text. I said I would like to train you on my home planet, Paibara repeated. Why, yes, I know that, but training on another planet. I need to ask my mom about this. I can't just go to space without giving her a heart attack. And also I need to go to school, Izuku explained. I see. I can teleport you quickly from Earth to Yardrat instantly using my technique, so no worries, the blue Yardrat understood. So it's not a quirk. It's something you can learn, said an interested Izuku. Indeed. Within months you should be able to learn spirit control, especially with such determination as yours, Paibara compliments the boy. Mom? Izuku asked with care in his voice. Yes, Izuku. What is it? Oh, who is that? Inko wondered, noticing the small blue Yardrat. He's Paibara, He is going to train me so I can live up to my dream of becoming a hero, Izuku said nervously. Yes miss, you boy has incredible potential. Even without a quirk he will be a great hero, Haibara stated. Inko thought about it and decided to let Izuku follow his dreams. Sure Izuku, if this man truly is gonna help you become a hero and go to UA, then I will support you. Just please be careful, said Inko with tears in her eyes. Then Izuku began his training with Haibara. Are you ready Midoriya? Haibara asked. Yep, I should have everything, said Izuku carrying his signature yellow backpack. Now hold on to my shoulder, Haibara asked. Okay now walk. Before Izuku could finish he was teleported to Yardrat. Now Izuku saw a pink sky and weird-looking buildings. Whoa, this is Yardrat huh, it's so strange, Izuku said, taking in the new world. It's a good thing this planet has oxygen because he would be suffocating right now. Indeed, now your first lesson will be in ki control, Haibara told. Ki? Izuku asked. It's a thing that exists in every being, so we will be teaching you how to control your ki first, Haibara answered. The next month Izuku was educated in ki control, learning how to sense and even discover how to use ki blast, although it is extremely draining on Izuku's body, who was fairly skinny and not used to such power. For the next 4 months he learned instant transmission, where he could teleport himself and others to places and people, which led to an awkward meeting to say the least. Mitsuki Bakugo was making dinner until she heard, "What the fu Deku, get the hell out of my house." Katsuki screamed, sorry." The quiet voice of what seemed to be Izuku said before disappearing. Then it hit Bakugo. Deku has a quirk. Has he be hiding it from him? Does he think he is better than him? It's just some shitty teleportation quirk anyway. I'm the next #1 hero after all. After that awkward meeting, Izuku had learned to use instant transmission better. For the next 5 months he learned various other techniques such as growth, where he can increase the size of himself, cloning technique where he learned to clone himself up to 3 times. Izuku had arrived at the gates of UA for the entrance exam wearing Yardrat armor to honor his teacher for teaching his techniques to him. With this power he is going to achieve his dreams. He even spoke to a cute girl. Probably the first girls his age he has spoken to in years. He has to go through 2 tests, the written exam and physical exam. The written exam is to test the person's intelligence, while the physical test is to gain points in a simulated city. Izuku was confident he passed the written exam, but the physical exam would be tough. Although Izuku was stressed by the exam, he remembered Haibara's teachings to focus and don't let anything else get in the way. Even a blue-haired boy noticed his calmness and respected his calmness. He was focused, not even paying attention to the world around him, well except Pro Hero Present Mic informing the examinees, which caught Izuku off guard. As it says in the application requirements, you listeners will be conducting 10-minute mock urban battles after this. 3 different types of foe villains are stationed in each battle center. You earn points for each of them based on their level of difficulty. Your goal, dear listeners, is to use your quirks to earn points by immobilizing the foe villains, the pro hero said. 1 point was for beating easy difficulty villains. 2 points was for beating medium difficulty villains. 3 points for beating hard difficulty villains. Right, let's start. Present Mic began the exam, catching everyone off guard with the lack of countdown. Get moving. There are no countdowns in real battles. Run, listeners. You're wasting precious airtime here. Present Mic informed the students, with everyone except Izuku running. Oh crap. Izuku yelled in panic, putting his fingers on his forehead to find a target, the brunette from earlier. Yes. He teleported in front of her, shocking the girl. You're the clumsy guy from earlier. The brown-haired examinee said. Why yeah, thanks for the help. Izuku waved while running to the direction of the fake city to fight some robots. He was now in front of a robot. Target acquired. Commencing attack, said the one-pointer. Izuku smirked at the charging robot and uses his cloning technique to split himself in half, completely dodging the robot crashing to the floor. Izuku's clone fused back together with him and finished the robot with a ki blast, gaining his first point of the entrance exam. Time passed and Izuku had managed to get himself some points, but Izuku never felt like he could relax. He still might fail. Then suddenly the whole area began shaking as a huge robot appeared, completely overshadowing the rest of the city with its sheer size, and everyone started to run away, with Izuku following the crowd. When making one final look at the giant, he saw the girl. He can't just leave her to die. Izuku used instant transmission to quickly get to her. "Quick, grab my hand," said Izuku in a tense voice. She listened but wasn't prepared to be teleported out of the rubble and near a boy with glasses. The entrance exam had finished. "Thank you. You saved my butt back there, but geez, my leg is pretty hurt," the girl thanked Izuku. "Thanks, I owed you one for earlier. Oh, and hold on," Izuku said, putting his hands forward, focusing intensely, suddenly healing her injuries. "They're healed. But I thought teleportation was your quirk," the girl asked. "Oh, I have a quirk called spirit control. By shifting, splitting and growing the spirit," Izuku explained his quirk. Tenya Iida examined Izuku and the brunette, amazed by the green-hair boy bravery and his amazing quirk. "You have amazing braveness. You have shown amazing potential to be a great hero." Iida entered the conversation. "Apologies, how rude of me to not introduce myself. I am Tenya Iida, hoping to enter the hero course," Iida said, throwing his hand like a robot. "I am Izuku Midoriya. I am Ochako Uraraka." The three introduced themselves, Izuku seeming to gain new friends even before he even got into UA. Izuku liked this new start compared to his middle school years already, and he wasn't even sure he is in yet. Izuku returned home from his long day trying to relax a bit, and his techniques drained a lot from him today, but at least he got Iida and Uraraka's contacts. He has a girl's number. Izuku blushed at the thought of it. He may have met stranger stuff like literal aliens, but talking to girls is on another level for him. Time passed and a letter came. "Izuku, it finally came," Inko Midoriya said with a letter in her hands. Izuku held the letter and managed to get the letter open with a strange item on the desk, which suddenly revealed All Might as a hologram. "I am here as a projection," All Might said. "As a projection? All Might, this is from UA, right?" Izuku said, surprised that All Might was in a UA projection. "Actually, I came to this town to work at UA." All Might informed him, as a projection. Izuku couldn't believe it. All Might himself is going to work as a teacher. Will All Might be his teacher? "Congratulations, young Midoriya, you have passed the written exam and the practical exam, gaining 62 villain points and 0 rescue points with a healthy 6th place. Well done, kid. You passed. Come, young Midoriya, this is your hero academia," All Might said proudly. Izuku cried. Not tears of sadness but of joy. After years of mental abuse from his classmate, he proved them wrong by doing something not many could do, as he passed the UA entrance exams. Izuku thanked his mother and Paibara-sensei for giving him a chance as a hero. Chapter text. Izuku put on his UA uniform and yellow backpack, ready to head to UA for the actual first time. "Alright mom, I am leaving for UA," Izuku said goodbye to his mother. Izuku made some distance between him and his house before running into an alleyway and using instant transmission to Uraraka or Iida's key, and found Iida, so he teleported to his location. Iida was already near UA. As a student of UA, he had to set an example for the school and his own family's reputation by coming to UA extra earlier than anyone else. "Hi Iida." He was caught off guard by Izuku suddenly being right behind Iida, which did scare him for a second. "Greetings Midoriya. You caught me off guard. I should be more aware of my surroundings as a future hero." Iida greeted Izuku. No, it's fine Iida. Wow, we are already near UA, even 25 minutes before class starts," Izuku said. "Yes, as we need to set an example for the rest of our class. Also Midoriya, what class are you in?" Iida wondered. 1A, you. 1A2, it's an honor to be in the same class as you Midoriya, Iida said, proud of Izuku. "Yeah, you too," Izuku said awkwardly, clearly weirded out by Iida's praise. Izuku and Iida appeared in front of Class 1A with Iida giving the directions there. Izuku and Iida had time to set up and find their seats. Everything seemed quiet till Bakugo showed up and put his feet up on his desk without a care in the world, but this clearly upset Iida, who walked up to Bakugo. Izuku panicked at the thought of Iida talking to Bakugo, but maybe Bakugo has calmed down since he is at UA, but the condition his UA uniform is in says otherwise. "It's the first day and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin." Iida told Bakugo off like he was the teacher himself. You're kidding me, right? Did your old school put a big stick up your ass? Bakugo said as angrily as always. Okay, let's start this over. It's clear we started off on the wrong foot. I'm Tenya Iida from the Some Private Academy. It's nice to meet you, Iida greeted the blondie. Some Private Academy, huh? So you must think you're better than me because you went to some fancy-ass private school. I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one throughout this year. Bakugo mocked Iida. You would threaten me, your own classmate. Are you sure you're in the right place and not UA? Iida felt offended, but Izuku walked in between them. Okay, everyone calmed down. Izuku tried to ease the tension. You, Bakugo said with a glare. Oh crap, where have you been hiding that quirk of yours all this time? Bakugo interrogated Izuku. My quirk just manifested at the time. That's why I accidentally teleported to your house, Izuku said, trying to convince Bakugo. What else was he going to say? Oh hey Kanchan, I just learned some techniques from an alien planet. That would be much harder to convince someone than that. Bakugo only stared back with disgust. Did this nerd think he was too good to show off his quirk? I'll show Deku that he is too pathetic for Ua. Shortly afterwards Izuku met Uraraka again, blushing at how nice she looks in the UA uniform. Then a caterpillar walked it. No, that ain't no caterpillar, that's a person. If you're just here to make friends, then you can pack up your stuff now, said the man in a bored tone. Welcome to UA's hero course. It took 8 seconds before you all shut up. That's not going to work, time is precious. Rational students would understand that by now. The man came out of his sleeping bag. Hello, I'm Shota Aizawa, your teacher, Mr. Aizawa introduced himself. Right now, let's get to it. Put these on and head outside. Aizawa shocked some students. What, a quirk assessment test, said the entire class. But the orientation, we're going to miss it, Mr. Aizawa. Uraraka asked, wondering why Mr. Aizawa will skip the orientation. If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Here at UA, we're not tethered to traditions. That means I get to run my class however I see fit. You've been taking standardized tests all your life, but you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. Everyone is still trying to pretend we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day, the Ministry of Education will learn. Aizawa told the class who is in charge around here, not them. Fast forward and everyone was outside in their UA sport uniforms. Bakugo, you managed to get the most points on the entrance exam. What was your farthest distance throw with a softball when you were in junior high? Aizawa said to the angry blonde student. 67 meters, I think, Bakugo told Aizawa. Great, now try doing it with your quirk. Anything goes. Just stay inside the circle. Go on, you're wasting precious time for everyone, Aizawa explained. Alright, man, you asked for it. Bakugo used all his power into the ball. 705 meters. Whoa, 705 meters, are you kidding me? Asked Denki Kaminari. I wanna go, that looks like fun. The acid quirk user Mina Ashido said with excitement. So this looks fun, huh? You have 3 years to become a hero, you think it's going to be all games and playtime? You idiots. Today, you'll compete in 8 physical tests to determine your potential as a hero. Whoever comes in last has none and will be expelled from UA, so we don't have time for people who lack potential, Aizawa said harshly. Some protected, but Aizawa responded as harshly as last time. Oh, and you think natural disasters are then? Or power-hungry villains? Are catastrophic accidents that wipe out whole cities? No, the world is full of unfairness. It's a hero's job to try and combat that unfairness. If you want to be a hero, you've got to push yourself to the brink. For the next 3 years, UA will throw one terrible hardship after another at you. So go beyond, plus ultra style. Give me an excuse for me to not expel you. Now then, we're wasting time by talking. Let the games begin. Aizawa responded with full force. Izuku had scored fairly above average in most of the test, using his training to his advantage. Now he made it to the ball throw. It was Izuku's turn. As long as he stays in the circle, Izuku threw the ball, and when it seemed to hit its peak, something appeared in the sky. It was Izuku. No. Izuku was still in the line. It was Izuku's clone who threw the ball up again alongside a key blast, along with it gaining an impressive score. An impressive 706.1. Of course, Bakugo was angry at Deku beating him in the ball test, with Aizawa revealing himself as the underground hero Eraserhead to restrain Bakugo by using his bandages. Izuku had placed 8th place, not the best compared to Yaoyorozu, Todoroki or Bakugo, but a good start for someone who was quirkless just 10 months ago, but it wasn't so good for a short purple kid named Mineta, poor guy. By the way, I was lying about the expulsion. It was a rational deception to draw out the upper limits of your quirks, Aizawa explained, making Mineta relax and everyone else shocked. What? Most of the class said in unison. Of course that was a lie. It should have been obvious if you just thought it through, Yaoyorozu said. Afterwards, Izuku, Ochako and Tenya were at the train station together talking about the day. During their conversations, Uraraka brought up why Bakugo calls Izuku Deku, with Izuku explaining the meaning of it, but Uraraka thought otherwise. Sorry, but it sounds like the Japanese word for, you can do it. It's kinda cute, Uraraka said with enthusiasm. Izuku was a blushing mess once again, but also inspired, finding a new meaning in it. Chapter text. Coming through the door like a normal person. All Might entered completely normal way. The rest of Class 1A gasped at the sight of All Might. It's All Might, Kaminari said. Wow, it's true, he really is a teacher, said a surprised Kirishima. That's a costume from the Silver Age, isn't it? Asui said. Its style is so different, it's giving me goosebumps, said Ojiro. I teach hero basic training. It is a subject where you train in different ways to learn the basics of being a hero. You'll take the most units of this subject. Let's get right into it. This is what we'll do today. Combat training, All Might explained with his signature attitude. And to go with that are these costumes made based on your quirk registrations and requests you sent in before school started, All Might explained, with the class happy to finally test on some hero costumes. After you change, gather in ground beta, All Might told his students. Yes, sir, the entire class said in unison. Izuku took inspiration from the clothes he wore under his master Paibara, but the armor on his chest had a green tint to it and his pants were black and less baggy than before. Izuku had appeared on the training ground with a pleasant greeting by the others. They say the clothes make the man, young men and ladies. Be fully aware, from now on, you are heroes. That's great, everyone. You all look cool. Now, shall we begin, you zygotes? All Might appreciated the heroes of the future. It turns out they were doing fights against each other, with one group being the heroes while one being the villains. The heroes had to stop the bomb while the villains had to prevent the heroes from deactivating it, with the heroes on a time limit. Each student was split into groups of 2, with Izuku being with his best friend Ochako Uraraka. And against Okatsuki Bakugo and Tenya Iida. This was going to be interesting to say the least. Now, let's start the indoor person-to-person combat training with Team A and Team D. All Might began the test. Uraraka, is it okay if you deal with Iida? I should be able to buy some time for you, Izuku asked. Yeah, sure, Uraraka said. Uraraka grabbed onto Izuku and they teleported over to where Iida was. What those heroes are ruining our plan. Iida acted, trying to get into the role of villain. Oh, if it isn't Deku, I was going to look for you, but since you're already here, why not just start now? Bakugo said with a grin on his face, charging right at Izuku with an explosion ready. Izuku countered by charging a ki blast with both balls of energy exploding in each other's face, with Izuku pushing Bakugo out of the area where Uraraka and Iida are. Bakugo tries to attack Izuku, but he keeps on missing due to Izuku using instant transmission to teleport around him. Stop running like a coward, Deku. Come and face me like a man, Bakugo said angrily. Well, you are going to fight me, just not one of me, Izuku said, duplicating himself into 5, charging at Bakugo, which is extremely effective due to the clone's incredible teamwork. They are beating Bakugo, not giving him the chance to use his explosions. One of Izuku's clones turns giant and grabs Bakugo in place, unable to get out of the clone's tight grip. The original Izuku used this to help Uraraka instant transitioning to Iida delivering a punch to the face. Uraraka now. Izuku yelled holding onto Iida as Uraraka held onto the bomb with Team A coming out victories. The clone holding Bakugo disappeared causing Bakugo to fall onto the floor. I lost too. Deku. Bakugo tried to think of what just happened. Izuku simply toyed with him like one of his All Might action figures. Izuku lied on the floor tired after using so much ki against Bakugo. Deku-kun, are you okay? Uraraka asked. Why, yeah, just really drained. Also sorry for the cheap shot Iida, Izuku said back. No problem Midoriya. Cheap shot or not, it was for a good cause. Iida broke his villain act. Bakugo had to go to recovery for some slight damage to his bones after the giant Izuku clone had a tight grip of him, and Izuku didn't really need to go to recovery girl, thinking he would regain his ki throughout the day. Anyone notice that Bakugo hasn't come back yet? Kirishima wonders. Damn Midoriya, did you break his ribs or something? Kaminari asked Midoriya. No, I didn't do anything that bad, he must be somewhere else, Izuku said while putting two fingers on his head to try and sense Bakugo's ki. Found him, he's just left UA. Grounds. Izuku says out loud. Wait, you're not gonna and he's gone. Before Kirishima could ask, Izuku was already gone. Meanwhile, stupid Deku, thinking he's better than me, Bakugo said before Izuku appeared, causing Bakugo to jump. What the Deku? Bakugo yelled at Izuku. Kachan, why are you leaving so early? Izuku questioned with concern in his voice. Better question, where were you hiding this quirk for this entire decade? Bakugo ignores the question. It just manifested after the sludge incident, remember when I accidentally teleported into your room? Izuku tries to convince Bakugo. I don't believe it, you can't just understand and do all that stuff in just 10 months. You've been hiding this from me since we were kids, thinking you were too good to show me. Bakugo responded. Kachan, I don't look down on you. You are truly amazing and I admire your courage and power. All I ever wanted was to be friends with you, Izuku told Bakugo the truth. Quote. Just remember this, Deku. When we fight next time, I am going to win. Bakugo said, filled with determination. Izuku only smiled back as he saw Bakugo leave, hoping that one day they could call each other friends again like old times. Chapter text. Some time passed since Izuku talked to Bakugo, and Aizawa had put a huge task for Class 1A, choosing a class representative. Since it is Class 1A, of course this turned chaotic. Okay class, today you need to elect a representative. The representative title is a chance for you to gain extra recognition at UA. Aizawa told the class. Do it anyway, as long as you have elected your people and it doesn't bother me, Aizawa finished. Pick me, I wanna be representative. Me too. I'll do it, I will do it best. The class turned into a bunch of loud mumbles until Iida got the idea of a fair and democratic vote, and when the votes were in, Izuku was surprised to say the least when the results were in. Izuku Midoriya first and Yaoyorozu Momo second, making Izuku the class representative and Yaoyorozu as vice representative. The lesson was over and now it was break for the class. I don't know that I can handle being class representative for the whole class, Izuku worried. Don't doubt yourself, Midoriya. I have full belief that you are the best suited for the role of class representative, Iida reassured him. Oh thanks Iida. By the way Iida, why are you so formal? Izuku wondered about Iida's strictness ever since the entrance exam. Well, yes, I am a part of Iida family and I fears it will change how others view me and my brother, Ingenium, Iida admitted. Brother of Ingenium. Wow, that must be tough living up to the reputation such a great pro-hero, Izuku complimented Iida's brother. Then suddenly the alarm started ringing, meaning someone had infiltrated UA. Was it a villain? Unsurprisingly, everyone panicked. Iida had noticed that it was just the media, but Iida couldn't gain the attention of the students. Then Izuku quickly thought of an idea using his quirk. Izuku cloned himself, and that clone used the gigantification technique to block the exit and also give the original Izuku a lift up the top of the exit. Everyone, it's just the media. See, can we calm down please? Izuku stuttered at talking to such a large group of people. Everyone calmed down and returned to class later on when the break was over. Izuku was more confident in being the class representative, Maybe Iida was right. When Class 1A returned, they were surprised to hear that they were going to the unforeseen simulation joint to test themselves and their quirks in dangerous environments. When they arrived at UA, they were greeted by Pro Hero 13. "I can't wait to show you what's inside," 13 said. After an explanation from 13 about her quirk and the class task in the USJ, a portal appeared. "Has the exercise already started?" Kirishima asked his teacher. 13. "Protect the students. Stay back. This is real. Those are actual villains," Eraserhead told the class. "What? Real villains? There's no way. How could so many of them get into a UA facility this secure? They must have a quirk like Midoriya or something," Kirishima wondered. 13. "Get them out of here and alert the main campus." Aizawa went to fight the villains. 13 and the students went to go and leave the USJ, but were blocked by a purple-flamed villain who proceeded to throw all of the students into different parts of the USJ, with Midoriya landing in the water, being grabbed by Sue and also seeing Mineta. "Asui, it's great to see you. Now it's time to regroup the class. Grab onto me everyone." Izuku put his 2 fingers on his forehead locating 13. Sue and Mineta grabbed onto Izuku and teleported to 13, but finding 13 being ed into her own black hole by the purple flame villain Kurogiri after trying to give Iida enough time to escape the USJ and get help. Izuku used instant transmission to teleport 13 out of her own black hole. 13, are you okay? Izuku asked 13. "Why, yeah, I am fine, go and help your friends," 13 told Izuku. "Uraraka, what are we trying to do?" Izuku talked to Uraraka while they are trying to fight Kurogiri. "We need to hold off the villain so Iida can go and get help," Uraraka explained to Izuku. "If only I could hold him so Iida Sue." Izuku then remembered the fight against Bakugo and instantly teleported to Kurogiri, putting him in a full Nelson, while Izuku then grew in size using his gigantification technique, grabbing Kurogiri like a toy, stopping him from teleported. "Did he just remember he could do that?" Shiro asked. "Midoriya is an idiot," Ashido said jokingly. "Hey Shiro, mind giving me some tape?" Izuku asked Shiro. "Oh yeah, sure." Shiro wrapped Kurogiri in his tape, giving Izuku the force and speed to swing Kurogiri out of the USJ, breaking the glass on top of the building. Then Izuku went back to normal size. "Okay. I am going to go and help everyone else." Izuku teleported away to help his classmate. Midoriya first senses the strongest key signatures out of the students, being Bakugo and Kirishima. "Yo Midoriya, glad to see you're alive, you come to help?" Kirishima asked just after beating a villain. "Well, kinda, I am teleporting everyone to the entrance. I dealt with the guy that spread everyone across the building," Izuku told Kirishima. "Wow Izuku, that's manly of you to do that." Kirishima complimented Izuku. "It's no problem." Izuku tries to brush it off. Then Izuku senses something coming towards them, but he can't see it. Bakugo then just grabs the invisible villain, causing it to decloak. "Wow, thanks Kachan," Izuku said happily while Bakugo ignores the compliment. "Just take me to the damn entrance," Bakugo said as him and Kirishima grab onto Izuku as he teleports them to the entrance. Then Izuku travels to meet Todoroki, interrogating the villains. Are you done?" Izuku asked to Todoroki. "Yes, they don't have any more useful information anyway," Todoroki said without emotion, putting his hand on Izuku's shoulder and meeting the others at the entrance. Izuku meets Jiro, Yaoyorozu and Kaminari, but covers his eyes when realizing Yaoyorozu's costume is torn, and Jiro calls Izuku a perv. They all go to the entrance. After Izuku had finished collecting his classmate, but Mr. Aizawa's key was draining rapidly, making Izuku go and see the problem. Mr. A's. "Oh god, Mr. Aizawa." Izuku saw his teacher being rag-dolled by a monster in a pool of his own blood. Izuku quickly goes in and steals Aizawa from the villains, taking him to 13, with Izuku using some of his healing abilities to put Aizawa in stable condition. Izuku came back to hold off the villains. "Oh, it's one of those students. Explain what happened to Kurogiri." Shigaraki said angrily. "I took care of your villain friend. Since Mr. Aizawa is out of commission, then that means the class representative has to take responsibility for everyone's safety," Izuku said. "Oh look, a kid playing hero. Nomu, kill him." Shigaraki mocked Izuku. "Oh crap. Izuku barely dodged the Nomu, shocked at its speed, but its ki feels like there is many people in the Nomu's body. It's like what Paibara-sensei said about fusions. Flashback. This is Force Spirit Fission, a technique. It allows the user to separate and manipulate energy from their target, granting them the ability to do things such as undo fusions and absorptions. This is a very advanced technique. Are you sure you want to do this instead of focusing on mastering something else? Paibara. Yes, the more techniques I learn the better. Please teach me at Paibara-sensei. Izuku said with determination. Izuku was forced on the defensive, realizing if he gets hit once he is down for the count. So it's a battle between who can get the first hit in. Izuku cloned himself 4x and all used gigantification to grab and hold the Nomu in its arms and legs. The original Izuku charged in and delivered a gut punch to the beast. Hey, you think a little punch like yours will defeat my Nomu? Shigaraki mocked Izuku again. No, but this will. Force Spirit Fission. Izuku yelled. Forced what now? Shigaraki said before witnessing the destruction of the Nomu. Performing Spirit Fission on the Nomu causes the Nomu to deform. All the people who were made to create the Nomu appear. I won. Izuku said, collapsing to the floor exhausted. He was shocked at his victory. That Nomu was comparable. No surpasses All Might current power. Deku-kun, are you alright? Where is the villain? Uraraka came with a few other students to see if Izuku is alright. I took care of it, Izuku asked his frog friend. Then the students noticed Shigaraki. Damn it, how can a new year beat the Nomu? Meant to take out the number 1 hero, not some first year with cheats. Shigaraki has a tantrum and then looked to see a cloud of smoke appear at the entrance. It's fine now, I am here. All Might appeared with an angry expression. It's game over now. I gotta find Kurogiri so I can get out of here. Shigaraki made his escape. Now Izuku could rest with All Might around. Chapter text. Izuku returned to UA with a lot of praise from his classmates. Dude, you beat a All Might level threat by yourself. That's so manly, dude. Kirishima hypes up Izuku. It was nothing, it's part of my quirk to split things up. I didn't do a flashy Detroit smash or anything like that, Izuku stuttered. To the surprise of Class 1A, Aizawa had appeared at class with a combined effort of Midoriya's healing and Recovery Girl healing most of Aizawa's wounds, only having some bandages. Aizawa announced the sports festival to the class, a time to show Japan's top heroes what UA students are made up, and it's good for pro heroes to scout for heroes. The timing of the event concerns some that the sports festival is happening just after an attack, but everyone seemed excited for it afterwards, especially Uraraka, who encourage everyone to do their best at the festival but at a scary tone. Afterwards, when Izuku, Iida and Uraraka were hanging out during break. Young Midoriya is here. The sudden appearance of All Might shocked the three. All Might, what are you doing here? Izuku wondered why All Might wanted to see him. Lunch. Young Midoriya. All Might pulled out a tiny lunchbox. I'll be back in a bit, guys, Izuku told his friends. Then All Might and Izuku moved to a more secret location. Since you are the few who know my secret, All Might then turned into his skinny form, which Izuku was surprised to see. I am here to apologize for what I said about you on that rooftop. You truly have what it has to be a hero, especially when you fought that Nomu, All Might said. Oh, thank you, All Might, that means a lot to me, Izuku said. But I have something more bigger to ask of you, All Might said. Izuku was interested in what All Might had to say. I want you to inherit my power, All Might said. You want me to inherit what? Izuku said, confused. Calm down, shish. All Might tried to silence Izuku so his biggest secret would not be exposed. Anyway, I want you to be the successor and become the next symbol of peace. This was big for Izuku. His hero wants him to be his successor and become the hero he always wanted to be. Quote. I refuse. I am sorry, All Might, but I found my own path to become a hero. I want to learn more about the power I just discovered, Izuku told All Might. That is very mature of you, young Midoriya. Most kids your age would jump at the opportunity with none of the responsibilities and determination to back it up, All Might said. I'll keep this secret between us and any other teachers who know about this, Izuku promised. Thank you, young Midoriya, All Might thanked him. Hey Deku-kun, what was that about? Uraraka asked. It was nothing, it was about the USJ and thanking me for it," Izuku stuttered. Being praised by the #1 hero himself, Midoriya, you are truly an inspiration. Iida praised Izuku. Thanks Iida. Izuku thanked his friend. Chapter text. The sports festival is in 2 weeks, so Izuku needs to train his hardest, especially when the whole world is going to see him. Izuku was off to his regular scheduled training, determined as ever to train his hardest. You want to learn more? I am sorry Midoriya, but I've teached you all I can. Perhaps you can better master instant transmission, but that's all. Maybe then you could travel across the galaxy to learn more techniques, Haibara said. Wow, across the galaxy. Izuku never thought about the galaxy, although it seemed pretty obvious there would be more life out in the galaxy as he was concentrated on Yardration techniques. Over the first week Izuku had attained better mastery over instant transmission through his hard work. Congratulations Midoriya, you were an incredible student and I can't wait to see you as a hero, Haibara praised Izuku. Thank you Haibara-sensei for making my life better. Izuku thanked his master and then teleported home, ready to explore the galaxy. Alright, see you later Uraraka. Izuku waved goodbye to his best friend after another day at UA. Izuku came home to his mother and gets ready to explore the galaxy in his Yardrat armor. He placed his fingers on his forehead trying to find the closest key outside Earth or Yardrat. He was now on a planet with a pink sky and heard explosions in the distance. Izuku landed near a cliff, looking down upon what seemed to be 4 soldiers shooting up a village. You will bend to Lord Fridge rule or you will perish. One of the soldiers said. We will never be slaves to that monster. An elderly alien said. Then you will die. The soldier charges up his weapon but is kicked into a house by Izuku, who couldn't stand to watch these civilians die. Who the hell are you? Never minded, you already signed your death wish, pal. The 3 remaining soldiers charged at Izuku, who in response cloned himself 2 times to fight them individually. Izuku's clones were easily disposing of the 3 soldiers. You saved us. Thank you. Who are you? The civilians seemed very happy that Izuku saved them, but Izuku left his guard down and the soldier from the beginning of the fight recovered from the kick and was about to shoot Izuku in the head until a mysterious figure came out of nowhere and shot the soldier with his stun gun, which shocked everyone at the sudden appearance of the figure. The figure wore a Galactic Patrol uniform with purple skin and white hair. Oh, thank you very much sir, you saved my life. Izuku thanked the stranger for saving his life. No, thank you for saving this village. If it wasn't for you, this entire village would have been destroyed. The figure puts his hand out and says his name, Agent Maris. Izuku Midoriya, it's a pleasure to meet you. Izuku introduced himself. Say Midoriya, have you ever heard about the Galactic Patrol? Maris asked. Chapter text. The Galactic Patrol. Sorry, I haven't heard of that. Wait, am I breaking some quirk law? Worried Izuku. No number, you ain't breaking any laws. I am offering you an application to the Galactic Patrol. Maris tries to calm down Izuku. Joining the Galactic Patrol. I am sorry, I just want to travel around the space learning some techniques since I am going to become a hero on Earth. Izuku refuses the generous job offer. So you come from Earth, huh? Well, I have a offer Midoriya, I will train you, Maris offered. Wow, really? Thank you so much sir. But I only have 2 weeks. Izuku thanks Maris. Don't worry, I know a place where you can 3 days worth of training in 1 day, so you can get around 2 weeks worth of training in around 5 days, Maris says. Whoa, I didn't even know that was possible, Izuku said, writing that in his notebook. Time passed and Izuku had finished his training with Maris and still has some time to travel around the galaxy learning some techniques. The day of the sports festival had arrived and Izuku was more ready than he would ever be. Looking at things objectively, I am better than you. While you have a lot in terms of technique and abilities, I have the strength over you, Todoroki tells Izuku out of nowhere when they were preparing for the festival. I don't want to be rivals Todoroki, Izuku responds. We have to Midoriya, it's a battle of who will be the strongest person of Class 1A, and that is going to be me, Todoroki said. Why is Todoroki acting so weirdly all of a sudden? I get that the sports festival is a big thing, but we shouldn't start conflict. Maybe I can use that technique I learned to see what's wrong with him, Izuku thought. The classes from the Class 1A to the General Studies all appeared in the stadium with thousands of eyes looking down at them, and Katsuki Bakugo was chosen to speak. "Oh, this isn't going to end well," all of Class 1A thought, even Aizawa. "I pledge that I'll be number 1. Bakugo said without a sense of regret. Everyone in Class 1A just sighed in response. "Now, let's get started right away. The first game is what you'd call a qualifier," the pro hero Midnight said. The first event was an obstacle course race with all 11 classes participating in it. The event began with Todoroki quickly freezing the competition with his quirk. Izuku, realizing he was unable to move with his legs, instant transmission to Todoroki location. Izuku also noticed Bakugo, Momo, Kirishima somehow, and Ioma also escaping Todoroki's ice. They all had arrived to see robots similar to the one in the entrance exam, but Izuku is not the same one from the entrance exam and used a technique he learned while training with Maris. He held his hand up into the air and charged his ki, creating a disc made up of ki. "Kenzen!" Izuku yelled as he threw the disc into the 0-pointers, cutting the robots like butter. Todoroki had also used his ice to freeze the 0-pointer, while Bakugo used an explosion to the robot's face to destroy it. The students approached a mountainy area which required some parkour. People with mobility quirks like Suasui, for example, were at a high advantage in this area, while others had to rely either on their own speed and mobility or using their quirks in smart ways like Bakugo or Todoroki. Izuku thought of using instant transmission, but he had a better idea. He used his Kenzen again, but not as a weapon but a ride, as he jumped onto the object, riding it like a surfboard but in the air. Izuku had arrived at the next obstacle, land mines. Izuku, still riding his Kenzen, was doing fine, but he was lacking behind Todoroki and Bakugo, who were going head to head. Izuku then used instant transmission to appear in front of Bakugo and Todoroki. "Sorry Kachan and Todoroki, but I am winning," Izuku said before delivering a roundhouse kick to Bakugo, which also caused Todoroki to lose momentum. Izuku did it. He won first place in the obstacle course. Chapter text. A cavalry battle. "I'm bad at those," said Kaminari. "It's not an individual event, so I wonder how it'll work," wondered Sue. "Cavalry battle," Mineta said. "Let me explain. The participants can form teams of 2 to 4 people as they wish. It's basically the same as a regular cavalry battle, but the one thing that's different is, based on the results of the last game, each person has been assigned a point value," the 18-plus hero explained. "A point-based system like the entrance exam, huh? That's easy to understand," said Sato. "In other words, each team is worth different points depending on who's on the team." Uraraka further explained the rules to her classmates. "You guys don't hold back even though I'm talking, huh?" "Yes, that's right. And the points assigned go up by 5 starting from the bottom, so 42nd place gets 5 points, and 41st gets 10 points. Explained Midnight, shocking everyone that Izuku got so much points. One thing Izuku didn't expect from getting first place was putting a huge target on himself by having over 10 million points compared to second place's 205 points, and the point value assigned to first place is 10 million. Midnight said, shocking everyone that this isn't going to be good. Izuku said to himself, realizing he won't be able to get any teammates due to no one wanted to have a huge target on them. I need to do something quick, too, about the current state where everyone is totally avoiding me, thought Izuku. Hey Deku-kun, wanna team up? Uraraka went up to her best friend. Oh Uraraka, are you sure you want to be with the person with a 10 million bounty on his head? A worried Deku said. If you keep teleporting whole time, then you'll win, right? Uraraka said. I think you're overestimating me, Uraraka, Izuku responded. Uraraka had joined Izuku's team, and they did try to convince Iida to join them, as Iida wanted to challenge Izuku as a rival. Team up with me, person in first place, a pink-haired girl said, getting right in front of Izuku. Whoa, so close. Who are you? Izuku questioned. I am Mei Hatsume, from the support course. Mei introduces herself. The support course develops equipment that helps heroes deal with their quirks. Trust me, my babies could really help you guys out there, Mei promised, showing of her equipment. Yeah, equipment would definitely be an advantage for us. Sure, you're in. Izuku accepted Mei's offer. Now we only need one more. Izuku thought, looking around for teammates. Hey Tokoyami, would you like to join our team? Izuku offered the Dark Shadow user, and the bird-like user accepted the green-haired boy's offer. Izuku wrapped the bandana reading 10 million on his head while Tokoyami, Uraraka and Mei were below him. After all preparation was done, it was finally time for the cavalry battle to begin. Now let's go, yelled Present Mike, and Midnight said, start. All teams began attacking and defending, mostly all going to attack Team Midoriya, one of them using their quirk to stick Midoriya's team in something resembling quirk sand as the team sunk. Izuku used instant transmission to get out of there. Great Midoriya, with your teleportation quirk we should be able to stall for time. Uraraka complimented Midoriya, which made Midoriya blush. Suddenly Shoji appeared, charging right at Team Midoriya. Then Uraraka's foot was stuck by one of Mineta's balls, and even when Izuku teleported it still stick to her, so Izuku tried using the jetpack to try and get rid, breaking the bottom of Mei's special boots. Now Team Midoriya was in the air and Bakugo was charging right at them. Tokoyami used Dark Shadow to protect Team Midoriya from Bakugo's blast, leaving Bakugo falling in the air. Zero tried to bring Bakugo back in, but before he could bring him in, the tape was cut by Izuku. Izuku used the Kenzan to cut of Sarah's tape, trying to get Bakugo out of the competition, but they managed to catch Bakugo before he could land on the floor. Afterwards Todoroki's team were coming towards Team Midoriya. Kaminari electricity was making Dark Shadow weak, leaving the defense up to Midoriya. Sunlight damages Dark Shadow. Wait, I got an idea, everyone. Close your eyes and stop using Dark Shadow. Midoriya had a plan. Midoriya jumped up into the air and Todoroki used a push from his team to get to Midoriya's level. This is the end, Midoriya, Todoroki said coldly. No, I am sorry Todoroki, Izuku told Shoto, which left Shoto confused as Izuku closed his eyes and put his hands by each side of his head. Taiyoken. Suddenly a massive light covered all the sports festival, blinding everyone there excluding Team Midoriya. Alma Eyess was a shared thought to thousands of people, giving Midoriya's team time to escape. Midoriya could have taken Todoroki's points but instead quickly went up to him and read his mind. What was that, Midoriya? You blinded everyone here, Uraraka said in shock. It's the Taiyoken. It's something you use with the power of the sun to blind people, but it takes a lot out of me, Izuku explained. By the time Todoroki's team recovered, the event was over and Team Midoriya came in first place. Yes, we did it. Uraraka and Mei both celebrated in unison while Tokoyami congratulated Midoriya. Good job Midoriya, we all did well, Tokoyami complimented. Gee, thanks. Izuku was thankful for the compliment. Midoriya, can we speak in private? Shoto Todoroki asked. Afterwards Midoriya and Todoroki spoke in hallway. Why did you want to talk to me? Midoriya asked Shoto. I was outsmarted and outplayed, but most importantly overpowered by you, causing me to dare use my fire. Say Midoriya, have you ever heard of quirk marriages? Todoroki asked. I know what you went through Todoroki, Izuku said bluntly, shocking Shoto. What? Explain, Shoto demanded. I wanted to know why you were so serious about this Todoroki, and while you were blinded I sorta read your mind. It's part of my spirit control quirk, and from what I saw, I am sorry what you went through Todoroki with your parents, but it doesn't defy who you are as a person. You aren't Endeavor Jr., you are Shoto Todoroki, someone I would like to call my friend, Izuku admitted to Todoroki and left, leaving Todoroki dumbfounded and questioning himself and his pledge. Izuku Midoriya, just who are you? Shoto thought alone. Chapter text. Final event. One-on-one fighting tournament. The final event was a tournament where participants competed against one another in one-on-one battles. The matchups were decided by lottery, but for some reason Mashirao Ojiro and Narengeki Shota had resigned despite getting in the finals. Izuku walked up to Ojiro. Ojiro, why did you resign? Izuku asked. It doesn't feel earned, Ojiro responded. But it was clearly earned. You got enough points and helped defend your team, Izuku said back. It's that purple-haired guy from General Studies. He went up to me and after speaking to me I blanked out, and then it was the end of the cavalry battle, Ojiro explained. Izuku was starting to wonder what exactly Shinso's quirk is before he fights him, or else the fight would be one-sided in Shinso's favor. The first match was Midoriya vs Shinso, which was going to be interesting and a bit terrifying not knowing the mystery of your quirk. The two students walked onto the ring. Shinso starts to talk. So you were wondering about my quirk, huh? Shinso asked. I am, Izuku said. Gotcha, was the words Shinso said before activating his quirk on Izuku. Izuku starts shacking and twitching. What is this ga? Izuku struggled to move or say anything with him in incredible pain trying to stop Shinso's quirk. Think Vegeta trying to fight off Babita's mind control in DBZ. That's weird, normally it instantly controls people but you are different for some reason. Anyway, walk out of the ring, Shinso demands. Izuku's flared his ki to try and overcome the mind control, shocking everyone. Otrio was shocked to see that someone resisted Shinso's quirk while he instantly was controlled. Izuku's legs moved towards the end of the ring. Could this really be the end? In such a random way. Think Izuku, think. Izuku thought before coming up with an idea. Izuku cloned himself into 3, which shocked Shinso. Since Shinso's mind control had a limit, he couldn't do all 3 of the clones. The 3 clones attacked and tackled Shinso out of the ring. You're pretty good, Shinso. Hope you can make it into the hero course with your awesome quirk, Izuku said, putting a hand out for Shinso to grab. Shinso only smiled and grabbed his hand. Shoto Todoroki vs. Honta Zero. Shoto walks out of his waiting room and thinks about Izuku's speech to him. Izuku's fight against Shinso and questions his oath to himself to never use his fire. You are acting disgracefully, Shoto, by not using your fire in the first and second events of the sports festival and could have crushed that green-haired boy easily, Endeavor scolds. I won't need your fire. I will only fight with my fire, Shoto states. When the fight began with Honta opening with a swift tape attack and wraps it around Todoroki trying to eliminate him by ring out, but Shoto apologizes to Zero and then uses his feet to freeze the ground, which finds its way to Honta, creating a burst that shakes the entire arena as his traps Honta in a massive giant wave of ice. Shoto Todoroki is the winner. Denki Kaminari vs. Abara Shiozaki. Denki charges his electricity and uses his indiscriminate shock 1.3 million volts technique, with Abara simply uses her hair to create a shield to defend against the volts, and Kaminari overused his quirk, making it easy for Abara to eliminate him by ring out. Abara Shiozaki is the winner. Tenya Ida vs. Mei Hatsume. While this may seem like an easy fight for Iida, but that would be underestimating Mei's inventions, who are able to dodge Iida, and Mei shows off her inventions to the public while doing this through a mic. These include her hydraulic bracers, auto balancers, electromagnetic souls and capture gun. Mei eventually forfeits by leaving the ring after showing off all of her inventions. Although Iida won, technically it was embarrassment for Iida to become a human guinea pig for Mei. Yuga Aoyama vs. Mina Ashido. Yuga repeatedly fires his beam, but Mina is able to dodge him swiftly, but over time Aoyama's stomach begins to hurt after overusage and Mina capitalizes on it, throwing acid on his belt and finishing the match with an uppercut. Mina Ashido wins. Fumikage Tokiyami vs. Momo Yaoyorozu. Toko calls out Dark Shadow immediately to attack Momo, but Momo creates a shield that stops Dark Shadow, but Dark Shadow circles back around and strikes her shield before she can focus on a counter and knocks her shield off of her arm. Momo creates another shield and pole to do an offensive, but it isn't attacking as Momo hadn't realized she was knocked out of bounds. Fumikage is the winner. Eijiro Kirishima vs. Tetsu. As expected, when you put 2 people with basically the same quirks against each other and it ends with a tie, and it would be decided who won after in an arm wrestle. Katsuki Bakugo vs. Ochako Uraraka. Uraraka immediately rushes at Bakugo, who is forced to counter with an explosion, which Uraraka dodges due to knowing his fighting pattern, but is still damaged by the splash, damaged by the explosions, and is blown back. But Uraraka continuously is on the offensive even if she is getting damaged constantly. In a brilliant move, it turns out Ochako kept low to the ground, so Katsuki's explosions would destroy the floor of the stage, so she would then be able to use them as projectiles against Bakugo as she releases a meteor shower upon Bakugo, but he is able to counter with his explosions. Unfortunately for the brunette, she was at her limit, but Bakugo commends her for her skill, but she still wouldn't give up without a fight, crawling to fight Bakugo till she went unconscious. Katsuki Bakugo is the winner. Eijiro Kirishima vs. Tetsu. Round 2. Eijiro and Tetsu arm wrestle to decide the winner, with Tetsutsu's metal arm breaking and Kirishima winning the match. Izuku is waiting outside in the waiting room for Uraraka's recover, feeling deep care towards his friend but knowing that he has to fight Todoroki. But on his way he encounters a certain flaming hero, a face Izuku is all familiar with from his hero journals and reading Shoto's memories. Endeavor. Chapter text. It's my son's duty to surpass All Might to become the number one hero, and his match with you will prove it. Don't hold back against Shoto, as it will be the trigger for Shoto to unleash his true power, Endeavor tells Izuku. Why you treat your son like that? You brought so much pain to your family for the sake of an worthy heir with a perfect quirk to be the next number one hero, and what I saw from reading his mind, especially with you in it, Izuku admits to Endeavor, who is shocked by his extensive knowledge of what happened. How, and what right do you get to know about it? Endeavor had a sudden charge in attitude towards Izuku. When I blinded everyone in the previous event, I wanted to know what was up with Todoroki and used my spirit control quirk to read his mind, and I saw a lot of what he was going through, and I want to save Todoroki and be friends, Izuku told, and left Endeavor to get ready for his battle with Todoroki. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Present Mike thanked the audience. In this corner is the man who won a huge victory in the first round and literally left the audience frozen, Shoto Todoroki. Present Mike introduced the white red-haired colored boy Shoto Todoroki. On the other hand, this guy barely made it past the first round against the purple-haired kid, Izuku Midoriya. Present Mike introduced the freckled boy. In the sports festival, both of these students have shown top-class performances. Now, start. Present Mike started the match. Shoto made the first move, creating a wave at ice to attack Izuku, who dodged it with his instant transmission, but Shoto kept Izuku on his toes, trying to drain Izuku of his power source, thinking he will be on the defense. When he tried the same attack, Izuku summoned the Kenzan that cut through the ice, nearly hitting Todoroki in the process, who jumped out of the way, but then Izuku appeared in the air using teleportation and gut-punched Todoroki and thrown him back into the ring, and he stood back up to fight Izuku. When Izuku levitated back down, he saw Todoroki's ice finally taking a strain on Shoto. You are overusing your quirk, Todoroki. You need to realize you can't beat me without using your other side, and I know how you wanted to pledge yourself to never use it, but what if there is a situation where you need to use it? Is your pledge going to get in the way of saving innocent lives? Izuku told. Shut up. I am never going to use my old man's quirk, Todoroki told Izuku as he unleashed a bigger wave of ice, which Izuku blasted away with a large ki blast. You're trembling, Todoroki. Everyone is giving their all in this tournament while you are still at half of your power, so come at me with everything you've got, Todoroki, Izuku shouted. Did my old man bribe you to do this? Todoroki said while running in for an attack which any experienced fighter like Izuku and Bakugo could tell were predictable. Izuku dodged his punch and grabbed his arm and tossing him onto the ground, creating a crater with all the force Izuku put into it. Todoroki got back up and covered the ring in ice to get an advantage, pushing Izuku into the ice, making half of Izuku's PE uniform rip on the spiked ice. Izuku cloned himself into 6 surrounding Todoroki, and with their incredible coordination are able to put in some good hits in before Todoroki used his ice to blow away all the Izuku clones, all disappearing as they return to the original Izuku. Why are you going this far? Todoroki questioned. Because I want to live up to expectations and show that your old man has nothing to do with this fight, were the words Izuku said as he gut punches Todoroki, sending him back more. Right now, I think you should stop screwing around, Izuku yells out. Todoroki has a flashback to his father's abuse and his mother's care of him. It's your power, Todoroki, not his, Izuku yells, which was the final trigger for Todoroki. Flames erupted from Todoroki, coming as a shock to everyone. Izuku smiled. I want to be a hero, too, Todoroki announces to Midoriya with the biggest grin Midoriya had ever seen from the white and red-haired boy. Izuku lets out a smirk. Hee. It's about time, Todoroki, now I can show off some new moves as well, Izuku said as he flared his aura and goes into a loose Mabu stance. Meanwhile in space, Maris watched his student show an incredible display of heroism on a GodTube livestream and was glad that all of his training with him paid off. Agent Maris, are you ready? The ship is getting close to Planet Soup, fellow Galactic Patrol Officer Yako asked. Yes, coming. Maris turned off his GodTube TV to go on another mission. Underscore. Endeavor let out a smile from the crowd. Have you finally accepted yourself? With my blood, you will surpass me. He shouts. Don't blame me for what happens next, Midoriya, Todoroki says. Hehe. I should say the same thing for you, Todoroki. Now come at me with your full power, Izuku said. Todoroki sends large waves of ice and fire at the same time towards Izuku. Izuku flew right into the wave of ice, surfing off the ice and performing a new technique. Ka! Izuku put his hands in a ball-shaped. A blue ball of energy appeared in Izuku's hands. Ha! The ball of energy got bigger. For a second Izuku had a silver glow in his eyes as Izuku able to dodge all of Todoroki's attacks mid-air while charging his technique. Izuku was getting closer to Todoroki's location, trying to land the hit head-on while Todoroki sent a wave of fire to Midoriya which seemed undodgeable. Smentos and Midnight tried to stop the battle with their quirks, fearing that they will kill each other. Midoriya, thank you, Todoroki thought before finally sending all he had at Izuku. With the silver glow in his eyes he able to barely dodge the flames. Izuku lets out a powerful blue beam out of his hands, completely destroying the entire ring and hitting Todoroki head-on, sending Todoroki out of the arena and into the walls, and a large fog covered the entire sports festival arena. What happened? Asked Yaoyorozu alongside the others from Class A and B from the stands. The fog disappeared, revealed Todoroki against a heavily damaged wall with Izuku standing in the heavily damaged ring, patting off any fire that got on his heavily damaged uniform. Izuku, Midoriya is the winner, present, Mike screamed. Izuku fell to his knees, panting with steam coming out of his body. Is the steam from Todoroki's fire or was it something else? Wondered Izuku. Izuku jumped out of the ring to see if Todoroki is alright. That Kamehameha must have knocked him unconscious, Izuku thought, going to him and using his healing technique he learned on Yardrat on the ice and fire user. Did I lose? Todoroki asked. Technically yes, but overcoming your trauma and becoming a better hero afterward. I would call this a win for you. Izuku smiled as he reached out his hand for Shoto to grab. Shoto smiled and grabbed his hand to get up, with the next battles beginning shortly after. Tenya Ida vs. Abara Shiozaki. The battle starts with Abara attacking from afar using her vines to attack Iida, but he had already activated Recipro Burst, running behind Abara and then grabs her shoulders and swiftly runs towards the edge and pushes her out of bounds. Tenya Iida wins. Fumikage Tokiyami vs. Mina Ashido. The battle starts with Tokiyami activating Dark Shadow to attack Mina, and she tries to counter with her acid, but Dark Shadow is easily able to dodge her acid and easily eliminating her. Fumikage Tokiyami wins. Katsuki Bakugo vs. Eijiro Kirishima. The battle starts, and both participants immediately start using their quirks and trade blows, but Kirishima is able to tank Bakugo's explosions, even being able to cut Bakugo cheek and forces Bakugo onto the defensive, but has managed to finally damage Kirishima, explaining how Kirishima has been pushing his quirk to its limits by using it the entire match and starts going on the offensive, knowing Kirishima's defense will break at any moment. He unleashes a barrage of explosions, putting a lot more strain on his quirk until Bakugo finds the perfect timing and eliminates Kirishima. Katsuki Bakugo is the winner. Chapter text. Midoriya. Iida calls out to Midoriya exiting the changing rooms after getting a brand new PE uniform after his previous one was tattered and broken from his battle with Todoroki. Oh hey Iida, you did great in your battle with Abara, Midoriya complimented. Thank you. Hopefully I will show it in our match that Todoroki and Bakugo aren't the only ones you should be looking out for, Iida says. Midoriya smirks. I'll be looking forward to it, and I bet your brother is gonna be proud of you. Unfortunately I am unable to contact my brother since he is busy with hero work, but it might be better if I can tell my brother that I won in person. Iida smiles thinking about it. Did you have any trouble keeping up with my battle against Todoroki? Midoriya asked. No, Iida asked confused. Then we should have a good battle, Izuku smirked. Sometime later both Izuku, Midoriya and Tenya Iida stand on opposite sides of the ring, both waiting in anticipation to start the battle. Start. Midnight signaled. Both Iida and Midoriya quickly turned into blurs as they started their battle. Iida went in for a kick but Izuku is able to guard himself from the attack, but Iida used his engines to put more pressure onto Izuku's arm, forcing Izuku near the edge of the ring. Izuku realized he might be in trouble, so he used instant transmission to teleport away, nearly making Iida fall out too, but is able to drift away from the end of the ring towards the middle of the ring. Izuku reappeared out of instant transmission to seemingly clone himself into 7 clones all surrounding Iida. How are those clones moving so fast? And are see-through like a ghost? Kaminari questioned from the stands. It doesn't seem to be his cloning ability, it must be something new, Uraraka responded. Iida went to attack one of the clones but it disappeared. What the? Iida was then punched in the face by one of the clones. Iida searched for what would be the real Izuku, but they seemed to be very fast. Mei Hatsume was one of the spectators of the match, and with her quirk, vision, allowed her to see the proper Izuku. Clever tactic. Midoriya has their Iida needs to find the true Midoriya unless he wants to be continuously bullied by Green's copies, Mei explained to the rest of 1A. Iida then activated Recipro Burst to hit all the Izukus in the circle, which succeed destroying all the clones alongside delivering a good kick to Izuku face, sending him near the end of the ring. Izuku rubbed blood off his face and formed a smirk on his face. I gotta give it to you, Iida, you have exceeded my expectations. Should have expected that from the brother of Ingenium, Izuku complimented. But here's the problem. You are fast on the ground but not in the air, Izuku said before jumping into the air and releasing a large barrage of Ki Blast onto the ring, keeping Iida on his toes until there wasn't much left of the arena, forcing Iida into the sky. Bakugo examined the battle of Deku vs. Four Eyes, and figured out his plan to put Iida in a vulnerable state and eliminate him. When Iida looked up, he noticed Izuku's disappearance and then heard Cannonball. Then Izuku appeared out of nowhere, flying down with intense velocity, planting his feet deep into Iida's gut, sending him flying out of the arena. Izuku Midoriya is the winner. Present Mike congratulates. Izuku walks to Iida to see if he is okay. You alright, Iida? Asked a worried Izuku. Thank you, Midoriya, but I gotta call my brother about something, Iida replies. Izuku looks worried and a bit sad that Iida thinks he let his family down. The next and final round of the semi-finals begins with Katsuki Bakugo vs. Fumikage Tokiyami. Tokiyami begins with attempting to attack Bakugo with Dark Shadow, but Bakugo counters with an explosions and forces them back with a barrage of explosions. Due to the light Bakugo produces, Tokiyami is unable to go on the offensive. Bakugo propels himself using his quirk to fly towards Tokiyami and attacks Dark Shadow with an explosion mid-air. Tokiyami realizes Bakugo is trying to wear him down with his explosions and counter-attacks with Dark Shadow, but Bakugo responds with his stun grenade attack, which weakens Dark Shadow and therefore Tokiyami's defense. Bakugo tackles Tokiyami and grabs his beak, holding it in a steady explosion in his hand to produce enough light to keep Dark Shadow weakened. Tokiyami eventually surrenders and Katsuki Bakugo is the victor. So the next battle is another fatted battle between rivals. Mina asked Midoriya, reminding Izuku about their first fight. I guess I will have to fight Kacchan again. He has improved a lot since the last time we fought, and it's gonna be as tough as Todoroki, if not harder, Izuku said with a sweat falling down his face. Izuku Midoriya vs. Katsuki Bakugo. The two rivals stood on opposite sides of the ring in an intense stare down, both knowing that this won't be easy and it would need everything they have ever been learned to win this battle. Let the match begin, Present Mike announced. Start, Midnight yelled. Surprisingly, they remained in the same spot, continuing the stare down, waiting for the first person to make a move, with the entire stadium almost silent, waiting for the first sign of real combat. Bakugo made the first move, propelling himself into the air to land a blow on Izuku, but Izuku dodged it and gripped Katsuki's arm before delivering multiple kicks to Katsuki's face before Katsuki broke free with an explosion, sending both of them back. Katsuki let out a barrage of explosions from his hands and Izuku responded with a barrage of Ki Blast, which both countered each other, which both stopped after overexerting themselves. You're amazing as always, Kacchan, but I'll be taking this fight, Midoriya breathed heavily. Hehe, you're delusional as always if you think your quirk that magically appeared out of nowhere can beat me, Bakugo shouted back, also breathing heavily. Izuku smirked as they both charged at each other and exchanged plows before both delivering punches to each other's face, sending a shockwave around the ring as they punched. Whoa, this fight is intense. At this point they are going to end up killing each other, Kaminari said in amazement. While Bakugo is equal to Midoriya in fighting IQ, but Midoriya far surpasses Bakugo in his arsenal of techniques, so this is a pretty interesting fight, Momo analyzed. Yeah, but why doesn't Midoriya do his blinding thing and then knock out Bakugo with his Kamehame thing? Mina asked while imitating the move Midoriya used on Todoroki. I don't know exactly, but it might be because this fight is very personal to them. Ever since the quirk exams, Midoriya and Bakugo have had something against each other, and from what I heard they both came from the same school and Bakugo called Izuku a quirkless loser. So maybe Bakugo bullied Midoriya and this is Midoriya proving himself to Bakugo that can be a hero, Momo guessed. So this fight isn't just for the sports festival #1, but it's Midoriya proving himself. That's so damn manly. Kirishima smiled bright at the manliness he was looking at. Midoriya gained some distance between himself and Bakugo, who charged right back in at Midoriya, who then threw a key blast on the floor, creating a fog which stops Bakugo having no idea where Midoriya is, and his wonders are asked when Midoriya comes out of nowhere to kick Bakugo in the gut, nearly knocking Bakugo out of the ring, but he recovers using his explosions to push him back on the ring, barely avoiding elimination. It's gonna take a lot more to beat me, Deku. You were always pathetic using cheap tricks like those ever since you were a little kid, Bakugo insults Izuku. Kachan. Since the age of 4 I wanted to be friends like before I was falsely diagnosed, quirkless, and you have pushed me away ever since. I never wanted to be rivals or try and look down on you, Midoriya explains to Bakugo, but now I want us to grow stronger together and push each other to our limits. Izuku screams. Bakugo goes silent. If you want us to be rivals, then go all out. Why aren't you going all out with your fancy tricks you used on glasses and Icy Hot? Bakugo responded. Izuku stays silent until he smirks. Well, if you insist, but it's gonna hurt a lot. Izuku then bent down on ready to attack. Izuku charges at Bakugo, who tries to block it but fails, with Izuku elbowing him, sending Bakugo back. Then, he attacks Bakugo with a powerful barrage of kicks and punches, ending with a heavy punch to Bakugo's stomach, causing blood to spit of his mouth. Mineta from the seats grabbed his stomach. Did anyone else feel the? Yes, everyone from the Class 1A stands said in unison. Bakugo steps back, stunned by the pain he had felt, falling to his knees. I am still not down, oh god, Bakugo said before puking out more blood. I'll take anything you throw at me, said the obviously not taking the pain well Bakugo as he falls onto the ground. Hey, that was a great fight. Sorry for hurting, but to be fair you did ask for it, Izuku said and reached out a hand. Frenemies? Izuku asked with a happy smile on his face. Bakugo smirked, and to the surprise of Izuku, Bakugo threw an explosion into Izuku's chest, sending Izuku back and feeling an incredible pain in his chest. Ah! Izuku silently screeched in pain. Hee, you let your guard down and I saw an opening, haha, pathetic Deku, said Bakugo, getting back up off his knees. Oh okay, my bad for letting my guard down, Izuku apologies. Guess I'll have to put all my energy into my last attack to W, and Izuku thinks. Okay, I'll give you everything I have, Izuku yells before jumping high into the air for everyone to see. Hey what's he doing up there? Oh, you think he's gonna blind him like he did to everyone in the cavalry battle? Kaminari asked. Kaa, Izuku charges his technique. That's not how that ability works. With that technique he is gonna blow the whole stadium up if he points it down like that, said a shocked Yaoyorozu. So you finally used that ability you used against Icy Hot, huh? And you're going to bring this entire stadium down with it? Ha, Deku, you really are a coward, Bakugo mocks. Midoriya, no, I can't die here, I just paid for my Only Heroes subscription, Mineta yells from the stands, but Izuku was too busy charging up his technique to hear. Izuku then puts 2 fingers on his forehead and disappears from Bakugo and everyone there. Said a shocked Bakugo, but the more shocking thing was that Deku was right in front of him. Oh mother, Bakugo said before being interrupted by, Izuku lets out a mighty yell as a blue ball of energy came out of his hands to hit Bakugo head-on, causing a bright light to blind everyone from the battle. The bright light ends showing Bakugo out of bounds, very injured by the warp Kamehameha being, and would be carried away to Recovery Girl afterwards. Katsuki Bakugo is out of bounds. Izuku Midoriya is the winner of this year's sports festival. Present Mike yells, introducing the world to the new sports festival winner, with the crowd going wild from Midoriya's victory. I won. Izuku lets out an exciting yell before collapsing to the floor out of exhaustion while weakly laughing, happy that he won the sports festival. Chapter text. The sports festival was over and Izuku Midoriya is the victor in first place, with Bakugo Katsuki taking second place, although he refused to take the silver medal, saying that second place means you lost even more than the others. He had to be restrained during the reward ceremony for obvious reasons, and Tenya Iida in third place. Students were giving 2 days rest before classes started up again, which gave some time for everyone to relax after the tournament. Now they are going back to regularly scheduled lessons. Izuku instant transmissions over to Iida in the morning, and something felt off about him. "Hey Iida, are you alright?" asked a concerned Izuku. "I am fine Midoriya, what are you worried about?" asked Iida. "Are you alright? I know you wanted to make your brother proud by winning," Izuku asked. "No, I am not embarrassed at all. Of course it would have been nice to have won, but my brother was proud anyway," Iida responded. "Welcome back class," says a fully healed Aizawa, no longer being covered with bandages head to toe. "Your homeroom class will be on Hero Informatics." All of Class 1A started to panic, believing they may have had a test. "Today you will finally pick your code names." Then the class's panic was replaced with excitement to pick hero identities. This is due to the pro hero draft picks judged from your performance from the sports festival. Aizawa then shows a graph of how many pro heroes offered a student to be taught under them. The graph shows Izuku Midoriya, Shoto Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugo in the thousands of invites, while others were only in the hundreds or 2-digit. They would all take turns in front of the class to show off their hero name. "Here I go," says Ioma, ready to present his hero name. "Shining Hero. I cannot stop twinkling." "Which means you cannot stop my sparkles." Ioma proudly shows his hero name, leaving his fellow students confused. "Then I'll go next." Mina excitedly ran to the front of the class. "Hero name. Alien Queen. I think Ridley Scott is gonna sue somebody," Kaminari jokingly says. "I've had this in mind since I was in elementary school." Rainy Season Hero. Froppy, Sue says, confident in her choice. "Then, I'll go too. Sturdy Hero. Red Riot." Kirishima introduces his hero name. Jiro lightly puts the board on the stand. "Hearing Hero. Earphone Jack." Shoji went up, speaking with his hand. "Tentacle Hero. Tentacle." Siro raised his hand. "Taping Hero. Cellophane." Ojiro raised his tail up for everyone to see. "Martial Arts Hero. Tailman." "Sweets Hero. Sugarman," Sato said. "Pinky," Mina said loudly, raising her hand due to having to change her hero name. Kaminari went up next. "Stun Gun Hero. Charge Bolt, combining charge with lightning bolt." "Stealth Hero. Invisible Girl," Hagakure said, "a plain but simple name. I hope I don't bring shame to this name." "Everything Hero. Kriti," Yaoyorozu said. To the surprise of everyone, Shoto Todoroki, one of the strongest people in the entire class, went with his own name, Shoto. Tokiyami was up next. "Jet Black Hero. Tsukuyomi." Mineta was up next, but you wouldn't be able to see him because of his height. "Fresh Picked Hero. Grape Juice." Mineta said with only his hands visible. Koji Kota shyly went to the front of the class, clearly having stage fright, not saying a word, only putting up a sign saying, "Petting Hero. Anima." "King Explosion Murder," Bakugo said in an angry tone, trying to sound tough. "I am gonna say that's a little too violent," Midnight says. "Huh, what do you mean?" says an angry Bakugo. "What about Explosion Boy?" Kirishima asked. "Shut up, weird hair," Bakugo responded. Uraraka was up next. "This is what I thought of, Uravity. I just love that," Midnight praises. Iida was next but was silent. Izuku confirmed to himself something is definitely wrong with Iida. "You're using your first name too." Midnight asked Iida. Izuku was next. He was thinking of something like BanntheMann, Yardrat. Those just don't work for him, but he thought of something more personal to him. Izuku walked to the front of the class. This is my hero name. Deku. Izuku stands proud. While that name might have started off as an insult, his friends and the people who now care for him made it not an insult but an inspiration, meaning, you can do it. Uraraka blushed at the name, realizing it was her who inspired Deku to use it. Thank God for everyone paying attention to the board, or Mina would have a field day messing with her. Next was Bakugo, who supposedly came up with a better name. It went as you expected. Lord Explosion Murder. Bakugo went full on gremlin. That's not any better than the last one, Midnight said. Later on at lunch everyone was discussing hero names and what agency they picked. Mineta picked MT. Lady, you can guess why, and Asui called him out for his perverted intentions. Hey Deku-kun, have you signed up to an agency yet? Uraraka asked her friend. I don't know, I don't think any pro hero would help improve my quirk, maybe I should do some deeper research, Izuku replies. Oh yeah, your quirk is definitely a very special one. I already picked Gunhead's agency, Uraraka compliments and tells her best friend. After school they both notice Iida's sudden disappearance, who seemed to have went home early. Uraraka, I think Iida is hiding something. He has been acting like this since the world tournament, since he came back from that phone call, Izuku explained. Yeah, when I think about it, he has been acting differently since the beginning of today, Uraraka responded. I bet it's to do something with his brother Ingenium. I heard from the news that he lost against this guy called the Hero Killer Stain, Izuku added. Poor Iida, he must be going through a hard time, Uraraka said in a sad tone. Yeah, I hope he is doing well, Izuku said. After they both parted ways and Izuku was walking home from UA, he heard a strange voice in his head. Hello, can you hear me? Said a voice in Izuku's head. Who is this? Says a confused Izuku, not understanding where the voice is coming from. Oh, you can hear me. I am King Kai, god of North Galaxy, King Kai introduces himself. GG god, I am Izuku Midoriya, it's an honor to meet you, sir. Izuku tried to be polite as possible towards literal god. Hey, relax, just relax. I want to help you with your hero thing after seeing your performance at that tournament, King Kai explained. Why yes sir. Izuku began searching for King Kai's key and found it. There, he then vanished and reappeared on a small green planet. Izuku then collapsed to the floor and tried to get back up. What is this place? Said a struggling Izuku. This is my planet. It used to be a lot bigger because someone was a sore loser about a video game, and it's 10x the gravity of what you have on Earth. King Kai states, still angry 400 years after that purple cat blew it up 10 times. This shocked Izuku, who was barely able to stand. Yeah, you will get used to it. King Kai shrugged Izuku's pain off. So am I going to be the agency I train under? I don't know how I am going to say I am training with God. Izuku questions. Take this. King Kai gives Izuku a piece of paper. It would do pretty well disguising who I am. The paper talked about how King Kai was actually an old unknown hero who took interest in Izuku. Are you sure this would work? I am pretty sure UA would have a pretty good record on all heroes, Izuku questions. Of course it would work. I am God, King Kai replies. Huh. Thanks King Kai, I am looking forward to learning from you. Izuku waved as he teleported back to Earth, finally in some normal gravity. Izuku is definitely going to go through some hard training at King Kai's. Chapter text. The next day, when Izuku traveled to King Kai's planet once again to get more training. Midoriya, welcome. I guess you're here for your first day of training, huh? King Kai asked. Why yes sir, I managed to convince them you were a former pro hero, Izuku said while trying to stand in 10x Earth's gravity. Good, now your first lesson will be. Izuku waited in anticipation for King Kai's first lesson. Chase my monkey bubbles around my planet, King Kai said. Huh, why? Izuku questioned. It will help you adjust to 10x gravity. Can't exactly be teaching you anything while you're sweating lakes while I teach you something, and also don't try using any of your yardration techniques, King Kai explained. Huh, that actually makes sense. Okay King Kai, I am ready. Izuku said. There was a moment of silence with a stare-off between Izuku and Bubbles. "Start," King Kai shouted. Izuku tried chasing Bubbles, but due to Izuku's inexperience in 10x gravity he lagged behind Bubbles, who was simply hopping around easily avoiding Izuku's attempts to catch him. Many hours later and Izuku was slowly but eventually getting used to walking in 10x gravity, but was still failing to catch up to Bubbles. "I gotcha." Izuku leapt to catch Bubbles, who jumped out of the way, causing Izuku to smash his face against a tree. Ow. The headbutt causes a crack in the tree. "Damn it, at this point it will take weeks to get him. I keep going in circles and circles." "That's it." Izuku stopped right in his tracks. King Kai smiled, remembering one of his old students who thought of same thing. Izuku then started running in the opposite direction, which Bubbles was caught by surprise, who also started running in the opposite direction. Hee hee. Izuku chuckled at his genius. Sometimes Izuku fears his own genius. Izuku then turned around again and hid behind the tree, waiting for Bubbles to come across. When Bubbles went past the tree, Izuku jumped Bubbles and catched him. "Yeah, I caught Da Monk." Izuku screamed out in joy as he jumped up high into the air with no effort. If he has already adjusted to 10x Earth's gravity, he could even master the Kaioken technique, King Kai thought. "Now King Kai, can I begin my training?" Izuku asked. "Since you have proven yourself to be my student, you can now truly begin your training," King Kai states, with Izuku letting out an exhausted smile. Some time had passed since Izuku started training under King Kai, going through intense training and learning a few new techniques along the way. Izuku was holding a blue ball of energy in his hands while King Kai creates a block in the red sky. Hiya! Izuku throws the blue ball of energy at the block, destroying it completely. "It seems you have already got a good grasp of techniques, Midoriya. Not in 130 years has someone adapted this quickly," King Kai compliments. "Thanks, King Kai. By the way, can you see how my friends are doing?" Izuku asked. "Well, let's see. One of your blue-haired friends is fighting this red sword guy," King Kai said. "Iida, no. He's fighting the hero killer to avenge his brother, and he is gonna get himself killed," Izuku said in an angry tone. "Iida needs my help," Izuku said, putting two fingers on his head. "No, wait." But before King Kai could protest, Izuku was already gone. Revenge just to satisfy one's selfish desires is the furthest thing from what a hero should be, and that's why false heroes like you should die, the hero killer states. "No, you hurt my brother and you must pay." Iida screams, but unable to move due to Stain's quirk. Just as Stain was about to kill Tenya, Izuku arrives, delivering a roundhouse kick to Stain's gut, sending him into a trash can. "Get out of here, Iida." Izuku's voice was commanding and full of anger, something Iida thought he would never see from someone like himself. "I see, can't. It's the hero killer's quirk. I can't move, and it's not your battle to fight, Midoriya." Iida responds. The essence of being a hero is meddling where they don't have to. Remember those words from All Might. Midoriya responds. If it isn't the winner of the sports festival. Izuku, Midoriya was it. "I am sorry, kid, but it's my duty to kill false heroes like him, and if you get in his way you will meet his fate," Stain says, coming out of the trash. "I have to admit, you are a different breed of villain that we fought at the USJ. I'll give you that, but I won't let you hurt any of my friends anymore," Izuku says before getting out his phone and send out his location information. Izuku believes that one mistake and Izuku could end up like a sitting duck to be killed alongside Iida, so he sends out his location just in case of failing. Izuku charges in, delivering a punch to Stain's face, which the speed catches Stain off guard, but regains his composure and attempts to stab Izuku with his sword, but Izuku dodges at the nick of time, scratching Izuku's Yardration armor, forcing him to retreat backwards. Stain starts taking it seriously, going on the defensive, giving Izuku trouble trying to keep up with him, barely dodging his blade strikes. "What's wrong, hero? Having trouble keeping up? I'll spare your life due to your heroism, but only if you promise to let me kill that fake hero," Stain remarks. "I'll never let any of my friends die to the likes of you," Izuku responded. "Well, any last words?" Stain said while reaching out his sword towards Izuku. Izuku charged up with his gray aura turning red alongside all of his body. "Yeah. Kaioken!" Izuku screams before throwing a strong gust of wind onto Stain, who barely dodges. "Kaio wa!" Stain said before being Izuku landed repeated punches to Stain's face and finishing it off with a kick to the ground sending Stain into a brick wall. Izuku starts to breathe harder after that Kaioken, if only he had more time to learn to have less strain over Kaioken. Midoriya, a familiar voice in the distance says, "I got your message." It was Todoroki who came to help Izuku and Tenya. "Todoroki, it's good to see you. Get Iida out of here now, I got this," Izuku tells. "Are you so confident in yourself that you can take on the hero killer by yourself?" Todoroki questions. "I am not sure if I can keep up in a long battle, so call for the pro heroes," Izuku asked Shoto. "Alright, got I." Izuku sensed Stain coming towards them and tackled Todoroki out of the way. "Run." Todoroki obliges, carrying Iida on his back. "Impressive attack there, young hero, but unfortunately for you, you won't get that chance ever again," Stain says. Izuku at this moment realized how much damage Stain had taken from his Kaioken and had an idea. "So your quirk works by blood, right? Well, that can work for both of us," Izuku said with a smirk, activating his quirk, and Stain is at shock when he sees the blood of his blade levitate off and into a ball of energy. "Force spirit fission. It allows me to take things from people who have absorbed or stolen something, and unfortunately for you, that's how your quirk works, doesn't it?" Izuku says with a smirk. The ball then spreads, returning to their original owners. This includes Iida, who can now move. "Your quirk is very impressive, but I won't give up easily." Stain charged at Izuku with a blade. Izuku was again engulfed in a red aura, teleporting behind Stain, and when Stain was about to fall to the ground, Izuku appeared to kick him back up into the air. "This is gonna hurt." Kaioken X3. The red aura doubled in size as Izuku began charging his attack. K-A-M-E-H-A-M-E. Ha! Izuku let out his signature attack, totally engulfing Stain and destroying the alleyway the battle was in. Izuku pants hard while he sees Stain unconscious. Galactic Donuts. A yellow circle came from Izuku's fingertips and was wrapped around Stain's unconscious body to constrain him just in case he wakes up. Izuku barely has enough energy to teleport right now. Heck, even a pat on the back would be painful for him right now, so he grabs the unconscious hero killer and teleports to the most familiar key he could find. "Midoriya, you're back," said Iida enthusiastically, mostly healed from the force spirit fission. "Yeah, I am fine. Might need a trip to recovery, girl, though, ow," said an exhausted Izuku. "By the way, what do I do with Stain?" said Izuku as he plopped Stain onto the floor, shocking both Shoto and Iida that he defeated the hero killer. "Midoriya, you beat the hero killer," Iida said, shocked. "Why, yeah, I used this new technique called the Kaioken to double my power, but at the drawback in ripping my body apart from overusage," said Izuku, still in pain, clenching his heart. They went to the pro hero endeavor alongside other pro heroes to find someone who can imprison Stain, who was currently fighting some Nomus. "Nomus, I can help," Izuku reminded everyone from what he did in the USJ and that he can help defuse the Nomus. "Midoriya, you are in no condition to fight right now," Todoroki says. Izuku. King Kai says with telepathy. "Oh hey King Kai, I beat the hero killer," Izuku said, looking up at the sky. "Who are you speaking to?" Iida asked, confused. "Hold on, talking to God," Izuku responded, which only confused them more. "At least you saved your friends from that hero killer guy. I swear I always pick the guy who wants to fight everyone to be my student. Also, I notice you are pretty worn down from that fight and you need to fight those other creatures. There is a place above the clouds that has an item that can recover you to 100% immediately," King Kai tells Izuku. "Really? Hey Iida, take care of Stain for me," Izuku said before placing 2 fingers on his head to find a key placed above the clouds and found the signature, and right before his friend's eyes he instant transmissions. Izuku appears in a place above the clouds with one small pillar keeping the entire building up alongside a giant red pole going even higher. "Whoa, this place is insane." Izuku awed at the building. It looks down at the extreme height he was. "Hey, who are you?" Izuku looked behind to see a talking white cat. "Oh sir, I heard you had instant healing beans from King Kai," Izuku asked. "King Kai, huh? This must be urgent, and judging by the look on your body and your drained ki." Korin examined Izuku's current state. This was none other than Karin, the farmer of the famous Senzu beans. Karin walks up to a tube and lifts the lid off, revealing tons of green beans which Izuku identifies as the beans King Kai wanted him to get. Here, Karin throws a senzu at Izuku which he catches. Eat it and your injuries will be gone. Izuku eats the senzu and feels a rush of energy in his body. Whoa. This is amazing, thanks, I owe you one, Izuku says before teleporting back to the battlefield. Midoriya, you're back, and you're fully healed. Iida noticed the lack of injuries on Izuku's body. Yep, long story short, I am all better. Now let's deal with these Nomus. Izuku smirked as his aura fared, going from gray to red. Izuku flew towards the Nomu's location, with them only seeing a red blur. Izuku hits a flying Nomus off guard, and a second after, the Nomu is destroyed by Izuku's spirit fission, and Izuku flies at high speed towards the rest of the Nomus, destroying them with his Yardrat technique. Izuku lands on the ground and turns around to give his friends a thumbs up. Katsuki Bakugo was mad. Well, his default emotion was mad, but this was something else. For first, he got that stupid hairstyle from his internship from Best Jeanist. And he learned that Deku got a new technique that allows him to double and triple in power and beat the hero killer. The guy that took down multiple pro heroes. Why does that stupid Deku get all these quirks pulled out of nowhere? Is he some sort of shonen protagonist or some crap? Bakugo thought. Wait, Deku's hero costume looks like that blue guy from the sludge villain incident. He must have gotten a quirk from that guy or something. Bakugo had an epiphany. Hey, I got an idea. A smirk appeared on Bakugo's face. The internships were over for Class 1A and have returned to regularly scheduled classes, with Izuku showing off the Kaioken technique to everyone during hero training, which made everyone realize how outclassed they are compared to people like Izuku or even Todoroki, giving them more determination to grow stronger with their own quirks. In the locker room, when everyone was changed and out except Bakugo, who walks up to Izuku. Oh, hi Kachan, what do you need? Izuku questions, shocked that Bakugo would willingly walk up to him. I know about you and that blue guy, Bakugo says bluntly. Huh? Izuku was clearly shocked. What are you talking about, Kachan? Izuku fails horribly at trying to defend himself. So that's how you suddenly got a quirk, huh? Bakugo realizes. Yeah, but isn't actually a quirk, it's a bunch of techniques I learned, Izuku confesses. How? Bakugo demands answers. I will explain it after school, okay? Everyone is waiting for us, Izuku tells his childhood friend. After school, Bakugo and Midoriya stood by the gates of UA ready to discuss how Izuku got his quirk. It all started after the sludge villain incident, when I was walking back home after being scolded by the pro heroes. That blue man teleported in front of me and asked if I wanted to train under him as a thank you for saving him, Izuku monologued. I know this sounds hard to believe, but he brought me to his home planet where he taught me his planet's species techniques and powers. That's where the whole clones, gigantification and teleportation came from, and I've been learning new techniques and powers ever since, but technically I am still quirkless, Izuku explained, not trying to sound crazy. Bakugo tried to hold it but failed. Ha, like I would believe that, Deku. Aliens. That's something Raccoon Eyes would make up, ha. Bakugo laughs before noticing the serious face on Deku. Oh. You're serious? Bakugo's laughter forms into one of shock. Yeah, I've been training across the galaxy with different teachers since after the USJ incident, even with the Galactic Patrol, who are basically space heroes and police, Izuku explained. So that explains how you have been pulling all of those abilities out of your ass, Bakugo says. Now bring me to them, Bakugo demanded. What? Izuku was caught off guard from what his childhood friend said. I said bring me to your masters. I don't want to fall behind because you get special treatment from some aliens or some crap, and if you don't, I'll tell everybody, Bakugo says mockingly. What? Well, if you asked for it then fine, I'll take you to Yardrat. Izuku places 2 fingers on his head and uses his other hand to offer Bakugo his hand, which Bakugo just grabs onto his shoulder. The two reappear in front on Yardrat, which Bakugo is blown away by being on a different planet and also not immediately suffocating. Midoriya, it's nice to see you again, and you seem to have brought a friend, Izuku's master Paibara said, walking up to Bakugo. Yeah, and I am here to train and get that precious teleportation technique that Deku has, Bakugo demanded from Paibara. Wait, Kachan. Do you think it would be suspicious for you to learn a techniques very similar to mine when we are hero training? Izuku said, worried. Relax, Deku, I am only gonna learn about that stupid teleporting technique of yours so I can travel easily, Bakugo said, walking to Paibara. So you're the guy who teached Deku over there? Well, teach me it too, Bakugo said confidently. Paibara examined the blonde. Very well, but first we have to deal with that temper of yours in order to start you spirit control training, Paibara said. Temper? Bakugo said in shock. Enjoy your stay on Yardrat, Kachan. I'll tell your mom you're having a sleepover, Izuku said smirkly before placing 2 fingers on his head. Deku, don't you dare. Before Bakugo could touch Izuku, he was gone. Since when did he grow the balls? Chapter text. Aizawa tells his class they will be going to a forest lodge during the summer break. However, Shota warns his students that if any of them fail to pass the end-of-term test, then they will be left behind. Bakugo continued his spirit control training on Yardrat, trying to calm himself. Meanwhile, Midoriya was thinking of something else. Izuku went to the support course to find Mei Hatsume. I wonder where she is. Izuku was cut off with an explosion, and when Izuku opened his eyes, Mei was on top of him. Mei. Izuku blushed in embarrassment. Oh hey Midoriya, what you doing here? Gonna look at my new babies? Mei asked. Well, I was asking if you were done with that gravity room thing. Midoriya asked. Oh yeah, come along. Izuku proceeded to follow Mei to a desk with a capsule in it. Wait, is this Capsule Corporation technology? I thought they banned it here because it was used a lot in villain attacks. Izuku said in awe. Well, not to you, eh? Mei said before popping the capsule onto the ground, making a loud poof sound before showing a white ship in the shape of sphere. Mei gives a tour of gravity room. With this baby you can go up over 100x Earth's gravity. Mei says. 100x. Thanks Mei for everything. Izuku says, very thankful. No problem Green, maybe you can pay it back sometime with something else. Mei winks, what makes Izuku blush at what Mei was gonna make him pay it back, and Mei puts chamber into the capsule again to give to Izuku. When Izuku got the time, he goes to the Takoba Municipal Beach Park to place it. Over the night Izuku trains under 20x Earth's gravity, packing some sensu beans just in case. In the following days he went to 30x, 40x, 50x and so on until the end of the week as he reaches 100x Earth gravity, which also helps him push to higher levels of Kaioken. He can now use Kaioken x2 to 4 with little strain, x10 with some strain, and x20 as a last resort, as it would tear apart his body and energy very quickly. Man, I wonder what Kachan is doing right now, wonders Izuku. Meanwhile, on an unknown planet, Bakugo throws an explosion, but it's caught by a long green arm which negates the explosion. You have to try better than that, boy, said a green man. While Bakugo was doing his own training across the universe, he discovered a green planet called Namek, inhabited by Namekians who proved to be very strong for him. The Namek proceeds to grab Bakugo by the face and bring him towards him before delivering a punch to the face, sending Bakugo into a crater. Damn it, Bakugo said weakly. You still have much to learn, young one, but in time you prove yourself to be a great warrior. We will call it quits for today, where you can sleep in one of our villages, the warrior Namekian said. Hey, thanks. Bakugo's time with the Yardratians has definitely helped him in his anger issues. Bakugo and the warrior Namekian head to the village where they meet the Elder Mori. Ah, if it isn't Cargo and the human, we have prepared a room for you, Elder Mori says. Thanks, old man, Bakugo says in a bored tone. Wait, what is that in the sky? One Namekian farmer in the sky said. Large ship appeared in the sky and landed with foot soldiers in white armor flooding out and getting in line waiting for their leader to come out, and he does dressed in yellow and purple with a orange scarf and purple helmet. The leader appears. Lord Slug the Allmihtly has returned. The Slug man yelled, stunning the Namekians there as the leader takes off his helmet to reveal that he is another Namekian. Lord Slug, who the hell is he? Bakugo said, confused. A long time ago a Namekian child was born, but he was born of pure evil, wanting Namek to be an empire, but he was banished long ago. Now he has returned to take over Namek, said Elder Mori. So he is villain well, I'll give him a beating he will never forget. Bakugo said, ready to take him on. Wait, if you go there right now you will definitely be killed, but I have a gift for you. Elder Mori then placed his hand on Bakugo's head and then a sudden burst of energy came within Bakugo. Elder Mori has unleashed Bakugo's hidden potential. Your potential has been unleashed. Right now you have been given a 7x boost in your power, but in time your power will boost up to 40x, Elder Mori states. Such power. I feel like I can do anything right now. Slug, here I come. Bakugo then dashed into the battlefield where the Namekian defense force was taking care of Slug's army pretty easily. Meanwhile Izuku was trying to find Bakugo, going to different planets to find out where he is. Damn it, where could he be? Izuku wondered. Hey Midoriya, I can help you, a voice in Midoriya's head said. King Kai, thanks for the help. Where is he? Midoriya wondered. He is north of your location of the planet New Namek, fighting an evil Namekian known as Lord Slug. King Kai states. Wait, what happened to old Namek? Izuku asked. Long story, King Kai said, remembering the fierce battle on Namek which caused its destruction. Anyway, you need to get there quick as your friend doesn't have the power alone to beat him. King Kai tells Izuku to hurry. Alright, Izuku says, placing 2 fingers on his head trying to lock onto Bakugo's location. Back on Namek, the warrior Namekians had finally dealt with Slug's army and now it was time for Slug to get his hands dirty. You were pathetic excuses for a Namekian, now I'll show you what a Namekian should be. Slug powered up to his maximum, which scared everyone there. I don't care how hard you can scream, I am gonna plant my fist deep into your face, which will make looking at your face a lot more better for everyone here, Bakugo insults. Why, you little. Slug rages, attacking Bakugo, who barely has time to dodge. Crap, he is fast. Bakugo then throws an explosion at Slug's face, causing him to groan in pain. As the fight went on, Bakugo's power continued to grow over the battle due to the potential boost from Elder Mori, but it still wasn't enough to defeat Slug. I've had enough of you, stupid human. Slug said before charging up and firing a large beam from his mouth coming towards the defenseless Bakugo, but he was saved by a red blur. Bakugo opens his eyes to see. Stupid Deku. Deku, what the hell are you doing here? Says the weakened Bakugo. Saw you were in danger, and what hero would I be to not help? Izuku questions. Deku stood face to face with Slug. So you're Lord Slug, I've heard of you before. In the path of destruction you leave, sparing no one. Not even children. Izuku says with clear anger. Oh please, I've heard it all and you won't definitely be the last to say it, Slug says egotistically. Your reign of terror ends here, Izuku says as he strikes a fighting pose. Zuku and Slug stared at each other, waiting for the first move. Izuku went straight for Slug, jumping into Kaioken X3, delivering a kick to sending him straight into the air, where Izuku planned to hit Slug from above, but Slug was too fast, sending an uppercut that hit the green-haired boy out of Kaioken. I'll give you that you seem stronger than that blonde-haired human with that technique, but it still isn't enough to defeat him, Slug says before hearing the hero yell, Kaioken X5. Izuku yelled, Kaio wa. Slug was interrupted again by a brutal gut punch as Izuku was performing a meteor combo which Katsuki remembered from his own fight with Deku in the sports festival. Izuku pushed the Namek onto the ground and jumped high into the air. Body don't fail me now, Kaioken X10. K-A-M-E-H-A-M-E-H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A. A blue beam fired from Izuku's hands, engulfing the entire area in a blue aura. When it was over, Izuku flied weakly to the ground, thinking it was over, but it was definitely not over. Slug fired off all the rubble. I've had enough of you stupid kids and now I'll show you my TRUR power, Slug yelled. Slug then began to grow to enormous size, shocking Izuku, Bakugo and everyone there. If he is bigger then that means he is slower, right? Izuku thought. Izuku was mistaken, as Slug's attacks were actually faster and stronger than it was before, only being able to keep up while using Kaioken X5, but he couldn't keep it up for long, as the longer he used it the more strain it does on his body. Oh man, I am getting my butt kicked out there, and the spirit bomb is the only one thing that can stop him. Izuku ripped his Yardration armor off, throwing it to the floor, then raised his hands into the air. But I need a distraction. Izuku then dodged an attack from Slug while still having his hands up. A large blast hit Slug in the back. It was Bakugo, Kachan. How are you back to full health? These guys healed me, now shut up and charge your stupid attack. Bakugo yelled. I need some time to charge it, can you hold it off? Izuku asked. Yeah, it can't be that bad to hold it off, right? Bakugo questioned to himself as he went to hold off Slug. Bakugo held his own for a bit, but he inevitably was beaten. Now to actually kill you. Slug holds Bakugo with a tight grip, ready to kill Bakugo until Izuku appeared out of nowhere, punching him straight in the face. Deku, what the hell, I thought you were charging up your attack. Bakugo yells. I am. Izuku points to the clone of himself gathering energy. I never forget about the good ol' Yardrat techniques. Hey Slug, you're not the only one who can turn giant. Ah. Izuku used his spirit control to grow up to Slug's height, ready to do a kaiju fight with Izuku using the Kaioken to keep up with him. When Slug aims for a punch, Izuku disappeared as it morphed back into the Izuku charging up the spirit bomb. What the? Slug then looks up to see the giant blue ball of energy. Hiya! Izuku then threw his hands, letting the spirit bomb down on Lord Slug. No grr, I won't lose. Slug placed his hands on the spirit bomb, trying to stop it. Oh no you don't, Bakugo said from behind, firing blast at his back, causing him to weaken more. Kachan, get out the way. Izuku yelled, not wanting to harm or even accidentally kill his best friend. I admit you are the strongest guy the first have ever met, but it's a shame such potential was wasted on villainy like you, but hopefully you can be reincarnated as a good guy someday. Izuku then placed 2 fingers on his head. See ya, HAAAAA. For a split second Izuku went into Kaioken X20. I am supposed to be the strongest AAHHHHHHHHHHHHHH. These were Slug's last words before the spirit bomb completely engulfed Slug, causing a giant explosion. After the explosion, all the Namekians celebrated the defeat of Slug and his army. Izuku tiredly flew down to the ground, but he noticed Bakugo and gave him a thumbs up, and Bakugo done the same. Man, I can't wait to go home and smell my mom's katsudon, Izuku said, lying on a small rock. My mom would kill me if she saw how my clothes are torn right now, Katsuki jokes. They both let out a laugh. Izuku remembers when they had times like this playing with his other friends and playing hero in the park. Good times. Oh yeah. Izuku remembered searching for a bag. These are senzu beans, they can heal you to 100% catch. Izuku threw to Katsuki, who then eaten it, erasing all the damage on him. Izuku did the same. We should get back, it's a school night after all. What time is it anyway? 10 p.m. Izuku said, reaching for his phone to see the time. Shit, my mom's gonna kill me even more now, Katsuki thought out loud. Power levels. Izuku Midoriya 180k, post-gravity chamber training. Bakugo Katsuki, before boost 10k. Cargo 45k. Elder Mori 2k. Slug Soldiers 1k. Lord Slug 50% power 1.5 million. Bakugo Katsuki, first boost 77k. Bakugo Katsuki, full boost 400k. Izuku Midoriya Kaioken X3 540k. Izuku Midoriya Kaioken X5 900k. Izuku Midoriya Kaioken X10 1.8 million. Izuku Midoriya Kaioken X10 Kamehameha 3.9 million. Lord Slug full power 3 million. Izuku Midoriya Kaioken X20 3.6 million. Sorry, I just like power levels. Chapter text. What? Me and Kachan are fighting All Might, said the shocked Midoriya. The final exams had come, and unfortunately for Izuku and Katsuki, just a day after their fight against Lord Slug to do their final exams. The fights revolved around 2 students fighting a hero playing the role of a villain, and now it was Izuku and Katsuki's turn against All Might. As the doors closed on the pair, the tension grew. All Might's mind got it. Bakugo tells Deku, "Wa, Kachan, you plan on fighting All Might, the number 1 hero in the world. I know we both grew a lot from Slug, but we shouldn't treat fighting All Might like a minor inconvenience." Izuku responded. Nah, you dealt with that All Might level threat back at the USJ, right? And I am hundreds of times stronger than you were back then, so I should be a piece of cake. I can smell victory already. Bakugo's pride and ego goes so high it makes a Saiyan prince sneeze in the other world. Then suddenly the fake buildings were destroyed, making both of them move back. If you think this will be easy, you are easily mistaken, young hero. Come at me with everything you got. All Might yelled, going to full power, which shocked the boys. Kachan, you felt that right. All Might's power, it's unbelievable. We can only stand a chance by working together. Izuku continued to try and convince his best frenemy. Shut up. Bakugo charged at All Might, who simply held him by the face, but Bakugo threw Ki Blast at him before ending it with a mighty explosion, causing a dust of wind. Dust this bitch. Bakugo yelled at Deku as they began throwing Ki Blast at the fog, pausing after a short time. Did we get him? Deku asked. Use your bloody ki sense, you idiot, we can still sense him. Why do you even bother asking Deku? Bakugo yells. Sorry, I am an optimist. Izuku apologies. You're an idiot, that's for sure. Bakugo continues to bully. Some things just don't change. You're both wrong. You're doomed, young heroes, All Might said, strangely close to Midoriya. Wait. What the? I didn't even feel him move, it's like he teleported. Izuku shrieks in his mind. Izuku got scared straight into Kaioken X5 to get away from All Might's attack. Deku, get out of the way. Deku was getting in the way of Bakugo's offensive, so Izuku used instant transmission to get out of there and in his opposite direction. Take this one, All Might. Big Bang attack. Bakugo yells with both of his arms out, creating an orange ball of energy looking like it's ready to explode and then throwing it at him. Kaioken X10. Izuku's body erupted into a red aura. Kamehameha Haaaaaaaa. Izuku's signature attack fired, sending a blue ball of energy All Might's way. Izuku knew this attack would only stun All Might for a bit, giving him a risky idea. Kachan, quick, grab my hand, I got an idea. Izuku landed out his hand, which Bakugo reluctantly agreed, both teleporting to another part of the city. Bakugo sat on the floor. Damn it. After everything, it's like we can't lay a dent into the guy. He really isn't the #1 hero for nothing, Bakugo yells. I have one thing that might be able to beat All Might, but I know you won't like it, Deku says. Quote. Go on. Bakugo says reluctantly. It's called fusion. I learned it on planet Metamore before the sports festival, but I never had the chance to actually use it until now, so basically you do this dance while saying Fu Sion. Habai, but remember the fingers have to be perfect or we will end up as a weak, fat or skinny guy. Deku did the dance while Bakugo blushed in embarrassment. Deku, we are heroes, not ballet dancers. Bakugo yells. I know, just for this once please, Deku argues. Bakugo reluctantly agrees as they practice. Okay, we should be ready, let's start. Deku was interrupted by the sudden sense of All Might. Let's do it now. Izuku yells at Bakugo. Fu Sion. Midoriya and Bakugo began the dance. Too late, young heroes, for IAM. All Might was interrupted by the boys doing the fusion. Izuku and Katsuki finish the fusion. The two's fusion blinds everyone as the two heroes merge into one. The light fades, showing one person standing there. You're not young Midoriya or young Bakugo. Who are you? All Might asked, very confused on what's happening. A grin on the fusion's face started to be visible. I am neither Deku nor Kachan, I am Dekshin, it's over, All Might, I have come for you. The new fusion's voice echoed, sounding like Midoriya and Bakugo at the same time, and had hair similar to Midoriya but standed up like Bakugo's with blonde highlights, red eyes, freckles, and wore a black and yellow vest with white bottoms with a blue belt. Dekshin does some stretches before performing some punches and kicks the hair at high speeds at the air to test out his power, while everyone looking at the exam looked confused beyond belief. How did Midoriya and Bakugo combined like that? They thought. Hey old man, I need you to give me a good warm-up, alright? The fusion gestured with his hands. Well, if you insist, young boys. All Might said before throwing a big punch at the fusion, who simply held the punch with one hand. Dekshin then pulled All Might closer, taunting right into his face. I wish you took this more seriously, then headbutted All Might far back. All Might jumped back to land a blow, but Dekshin simply moved his hand out of the way to deliver a gut punch with his elbow and sent crashing into the buildings with a kick to the face, and Dekshin rains fire over All Might, firing so much it elevates Dekshin into the air. Whoa, they are demolishing All Might. Why isn't he just heading to the finishing line already? Kirishima wondered. I don't know. But it looks like this. Deku, individual is enjoying this battle too much against All Might, which he defiantly takes after Bakugo. Momo analyses. Oh come on old man. You're supposed to be the #1 hero right? Then get back up and show me that alright, said an agitated Deku. All Might jumps out of rubble looking very messed up. You know I am not even at full power right now, right? And I am already pushing you to your limit, Deku said, sitting on a broken piece of the building. Quite the ego you have on you, but don't think it's going to be easy young boys, All Might replies. Oh really? Suddenly Deku said right behind All Might without him even knowing he was there, and when he immediately turned to see Deku, he was kicked to a wall and pinned down with energy handcuffs strapping it to his neck, hands and legs. Deku walks up to All Might. I win, Deku says with a grin. Deku was declared the winner and everyone celebrated Midoriya and Bakugo's victory. Afterward Deku walks up to his friends Uraraka, Iida, Mina, Kirishima, Momo and Kaminari. Hey everyone. Deku walks up his friends are Deku and Bakugo's friends, at least giving them the Midoriya smile, which was weird for the Baku squad to kinda see Bakugo smile. So you're Deku huh? You're so damn cool, Kirishima said after looking at Deku's power in action. So do you stay like this or is this permanent? Before Momo could finish her sentence a glow appeared around Deku. Uh-oh. Then Midoriya and Bakugo were both popped out as the time went past 30 minutes. Whoa, Deku's power is insane. Izuku was shocked at Deku's power while still on the floor. We did great out there, Kachan. And we even pulled the fusion off first try. Deku complimented Bakugo, who simply left to the changing rooms. Bakugo was changing, yes, but he still had the signature Bakugo moodiness. Chapter text. After the amazing battle between Deku and All Might, the school day ended and many of the students decide they need to buy more things to bring with them for the week-long trip, and the invisible girl Toru Hagakure suggested all going to the mall together. Izuku wanted to ask Bakugo, but he probably using the gravity room he gave him. Class 1A meets up at the Kiyoshi Ward shopping mall, where Class 1A get instantly recognized by everyone there, especially Izuku, who gets crowded by a bunch of people. Guys. Need some help over here. Izuku tried to communicate with all his friends, who just look and laugh at Izuku getting crowded. After Izuku gets away from the crowd, they all agreed to split off into groups, with Izuku hanging out with Uraraka, who gets flustered for some reason and runs off. Well, that was weird. Then Izuku meets another fan. Or what he thinks it is, until he senses the evil in him and his key signature almost feels like Shigaraki. Izuku then instantly moves away from the villain. Ah, it seems like you noticed me. Oh well. Then Shigaraki began to move and grab Izuku by the neck, but Izuku instantly sees his movements and kicks him in the face, knocking the hoodie off of him, showing his wrinkled, paled face. You really thought I was slow enough to be grabbed by you? A lot has happened over the last month to make you not even be a challenge to me now, Izuku states as Shigaraki gets up, having a big mark on his face. Wow kid, you are stronger than I thought. Both of you. You and Stain are the things I hate worst, as they relate to that smiling trash bag All Might. But remember this kid, there is something big coming that none of you would be able to handle. No one. Before Izuku can attack, Shigaraki is led into a purple portal, which must have been the guy with purple flames surrounding his body. Damn it. Izuku shouts. Deku-kun, what happened? Uraraka came back and saw Shigaraki. That villain from the USJ, he came back and tried to decay me like he did to Aizawa-sensei, Izuku explains. Are you hurt? Uraraka asked, worried. No, I am fine, Uraraka. He wasn't able to land a hit on me, but we should probably report this incident to the police, Izuku. Izuku and Uraraka reported the incident to the police and meets directly with Naomasa Tsukauchi, and Izuku meets with his mother as well to assure that he is alright. Afterwards Izuku comes to visit Bakugo in the gravity chamber, who was training with weighted gauntlets on. Whoa Kachan, you are pushing yourself more than I did, Izuku compliments. Because I don't want to rely on doing that stupid dance when we fight the next big bad, so I went to that pink-haired weirdo to ask for more equipment to train with, so I got these. Bakugo stops training to shout at Izuku, also showing off his training gauntlets. Hey, that was All Might. We have 3 years to get strong, and this is only our 3rd month in UA, which means we have 33 more months of hero training, and based on our rate of the growth in which we are training, we should be at All Might's level in no time, Izuku responds. Fine, now come here. You got me in the mood to punch you in the face. Bakugo rid himself of the gauntlets and goes into a fighting stance. Hey, gladly. Izuku smirks at his childhood best friend as he too goes into a fighting pose. Chapter text. The time has come for the students of UA to go the mountaintop to train and hone their skills and abilities. When they were about to go on the bus, a stroke of genius came to Midoriya's head. Hey, what if we could just go there using my instant transmission? Izuku explains to his teacher. Do you really think you could bring all of us to that far of a distance? Aizawa responded. It'll be fine, I've been trying to go from longer distances for a while now. Izuku reassures Aizawa, of course he can teleport there, he has been teleporting to different planets for months now. Meanwhile in Aizawa's head he screams as he can't get any extra sleep now. Alright everyone, grab on. Izuku told his fellow classmates, who did so, either grabbing his hand, shoulder, or someone else grabbed to him. Uraraka on the other hand grabbed onto Izuku's hand before quickly retreating to his arm instead. Flustered in embarrassment, Mina watched the whole thing. Before they knew it they were at the mountaintop and Izuku nearly threw up after teleporting 20 people at once. I should probably inform the wild cats that we arrived a bit earlier than expected, says Aizawa, which lights up Izuku's face knowing of the heroes Aizawa was talking about. After being informed of Class 1A's very early appearance, the wild cats had arrived in style, and Izuku fanboys telling his classmates about the great heroes from the last decade before Pixie Bob grabs him and tells him she is a teenager at heart. The first training they would receive would be getting to the forest lodge, and Aizawa told Izuku not to use instant transmission to cheaply get through there. Alright, I wasn't planning to anyway. Izuku then looked to Bakugo, who smirked, clearly challenging Izuku to a race. Meanwhile every other student attempted to run out of there only to be stopped, the wild cats sending them into the air, which was awkward for Izuku as he was just standing in the air confused on what to do. Hey you, follow your classmates. Pixie Bob yelled at him, realizing he was still there. Why yes ma'am. Izuku followed her orders quickly. Oh hey guys, how are you doing? Izuku greets his classmates, who didn't have the pleasure of having the ability to fly, well except Bakugo, but he kept that a secret. Damn it, why do we keep falling into one of Aizawa's little traps? Jiro said, dusting and getting herself off the floor. The wild cats gave Class 1A 3 hours to get from where they are now to the forest lodge through the beast forest. Pixie Bob then uses her quirk to create monsters for the class to face through the forest. One of them immediately targets Mineta, but as soon as it begins to attack, its head is cut completely off by Izuku's Kenzen, which continues knocking down a couple of trees. Wow Midoriya, that was awesome. Sato and Sero compliment Midoriya while Mineta crawls into a ball, already having PTSD from this trip just 2 hours into them being there. More beasts came as all of Class 1A used their quirks to destroy, immobilize and help against the incoming forest monsters, but Izuku and Bakugo took out the most monsters. Halfway through they made it into a game into who could take out the most. We are fighting for our lives while they turned it into a game, Mineta cries rivers as he says that. Ever since the incident with Stain they seem to have been one step ahead of us all, Shoto states while burning one of the forest monsters. Yeah, since the sports festival it's like they have been best friends. Did Midoriya knock some sense into him or something? Ashido adds. Maybe they have been training in secret, which explains their fusion from the final exams. Hopefully this training will help us get strong enough to keep up with them. The youngest of the Todorokis continues the conversation, with everyone wanting to be strong as them and not be left in the dust by their two classmates. Midoriya blitzes through 2 forest monsters with a Kaioken X2, cutting the 2 in half. Hey Deku, try and keep up, you slow poke. Bakugo said, passing Izuku, who goes through the forest at high speed wanting to challenge Deku to a race across the beast forest. Kachan, you cheater. Izuku gave a grumpy face as Bakugo got a head start, so he jumped into Kaioken to catch up to his childhood best friend. A shockwave was felt across the whole forest as both rivals went through the forest at high speeds, leaving nothing scathed as they pushed themselves to the forest lodge. Do you hear that? The pro hero Mandalay commented to Pixie Bob and Aizawa, hearing the two boys come in hot and hit the brakes. Ha ha ha, I finally beat you, idiot. Bakugo laughed pridefully. No fair, Kachan. You got a head start while I was helping our friends, Izuku responded a bit salty. Well, you snooze you lose, Deku, Bakugo replies, rubbing it in. You two have definitely been the most impressive out of the bunch. I call dibs on these kittens. Pixie Bob lunges at the two and gets restrained by Aizawa. You two should go back to your classmates and help them out. This wasn't a race, it was meant to be a combined effort for everyone, Aizawa told his students. We ain't got anything else to do. Let's go, Deku, Bakugo says and grabs Deku by the collar, dragging him back into Beast Forest while Midoriya waves goodbye to his teachers. I had arrived at the forest lodge all exhausted and bruised up from the exercise, except Midoriya and Bakugo, who wasn't that exhausted since it was nothing like 100x gravity they had trained in, and the class is also introduced to Mandalay's nephew named Kota, which Izuku introduced himself to the small boy. Hello, nice to meet you, I am Izuku Mido. Izuku was met with a punch to the privates and Kota proceeds to walk away. 18 years later, we see an older-looking Izuku in a blue training GI with a green-haired girl with a ponytail dressed in a blue tracksuit with a permanent blush on her face by a rocky mountain. Alright Izumi, I am gonna train you up for the entrance exams at UA. So I'll start in my base form then. Izuku is then cut off by the teenage girl suddenly fading out of existence. Izumi, the small girl then fully faded out of existence. Wait, what was I doing here? The older Izuku then questions to himself. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Izuku has faced evil space pirates on other planets, but that was the most pain he had ever experienced before. What a low blow. You fiend of a child, a punch to the balls is unforgivable. Iida quickly rushes to Izuku's rescue. The last thing I wanna be around is some wannabe heroes. Kota yells back before leaving. Hey kids, got attitude. Bakugo smirks at his rival's pain. He is like a mini version of you, Todoroki remarks. What are you talking about? You need to shut your mouth before I blow you all the way to hell. Bakugo responds angrily as always. Afterwards, the students are greeted by a wide variety of foods to eat for dinner, but Pixie Bob informs them that this will be the last time the students will be this well fed during their training. The students then get to have a hot spring separated into male and female, of course. In the male side of things, the short pervert Mineta was staring blankly at the wall bordering male and female while everyone else was enjoying bathing. Nowadays, for them to not stagger bathing times for men and women is an accident. Yes, an accident waiting to happen. Mineta says. Don't tell me you're gonna. Denki asked his perverted buddy in crime. Midoriya, as class president you must stop whatever Mineta is about to do. Iida nudges Izuku. Oh yeah, I am a class president. Coughs Mineta, please stop this perverted behavior. Izuku tried to replicate Iida's mannerisms. You're acting too fussy, Midoriya, think of all those girls on the other side of those walls, imagine Uraraka, Yaoyorozu and everyone else, Mineta tells his green classmate. Izuku blushes at the thought of it. Mineta, stop plaguing the class president of rude thoughts such as that. Iida yells, but it was too late. Walls are meant to be climbed over. Plus ultra, Mineta uses his balls to climb over the wall. But before he could climb over, he is met by Kota, who was standing on top of the wall. Before becoming a hero, you need to learn about being human. Kota then slapped Mineta's hands off the wall, making him fall. Wow, thanks Kota. Kota heard the girls call his name, so he looked to see the girls very revealed, which caused Kota to lose his footing and fall. Kota. Izuku then jumped out of the pool and used instant transmission to catch the boy, which he carried him while levitating down. I should probably go to Mandalay about this, Izuku told his friends, in which he did. Izuku brings Kota to Mandalay, where he learns of Kota's tragic past involving his parents, who were pro-heroes who died in the line of duty. The next morning, training's truly beings for 1A, and Bakugo is handed a ball similar to the quirk exams from the very beginning of the school year. Hee hee, yeah, I'll show you how far I have grown. An evil smirk appeared on Bakugo's face before he threw it at full force and it went far into the sky. Bakugo got a giant score of over 14,000, which shocked everyone at how far Bakugo had grown. Aizawa then goes over how the training camp will push the students in order to greatly increase the strength of their superpowers. Izuku walks up to Aizawa and asked if he can help in the class's training. And how exactly can you help the class train Midoriya? Aizawa asked. Izuku then gets a capsule out of his pocket and threw it onto the floor, and it made a poof sound before it showed the gravity room. This is the gravity room. Me and Kachan used it to get stronger before the exams. I had Hatsumeme from the support department where I can train up to 100x gravity. Izuku explains. 100x Earth's gravity. Aizawa looked shocked, realizing the truth behind Midoriya and Bakugo's sudden surge in power. Aizawa gave Midoriya permission to use the gravity chamber as long as he plays it easy on the gravity settings, unless they all want shattered bones. Izuku went to Uraraka first. So Deku-kun, why did you bring me here first? Uraraka asked. The aim is to improve your quirk, correct? Then maybe if you practice lifting heavy objects in higher gravity, you can train it in 10x gravity, then 20x and so on, and it can improve both your strength and quirk. Izuku explained, which Uraraka got immediately. Whoa, thanks Deku-kun. Uraraka smiled and blushed slightly at how cute Izuku was when explaining how she could get a better grasp with her quirk. Meanwhile Bakugo was with Iida. So you have been trying to catch up to Deku, right? Wanting to prove yourself like Icy Hot back at the sports festival? Bakugo asked Iida, who nods. By the pace you are going now, you are never going to catch up to Deku over there. You can train for the rest of the life and still be nowhere near Deku as currently. Bakugo points to Deku training while telling Iida the harsh truth. So you're gonna make up the strength with your speed, Bakugo told Iida. My speed. So I would need to push myself to the limit. Iida looked at his hand and skessed it, ready to push himself hard. And if you want to push yourself hard, you're gonna need a training partner, Bakugo says, obviously suggesting that he and Iida should train together, which Iida nods and accepts. Chapter text. Class 1A had been pushing themselves to the limit during training through either physical gains or enhancing their powers. Ioma learned to make his laser more powerful and use it for longer periods of time without vomiting. Mina Ishido increased her skin's durability to her acid and even learned a new move nicknamed Acidman, inspired by Kirishima's hardening quirk and Midoriya's Kaioken technique, where Mina generates a large amount of acid that takes a human form that covers her entire body, which serves as both a powerful offensive tool but a great defensive tool, as they would almost instantly melt through anything that attacked her, which makes battles against her in this form very difficult. Sue became more agile and quicker. Toru Hagakure focused on her stealth and agility, making her silent and efficient. This would be proven with training with Izuku. Midoriya, with his ability to sense ki without even seeing them, his quirk completely counters her quirk, so they would test each other through sparring, with Midoriya blindfolded, only relying on his ki and senses to fight Hagakure and putting Hagakure's stealth abilities to the test. And when Midoriya wasn't available, Shoji creates multiples arms to look for Hagakure, also helping him in the process. Tenya Iida focused on pure speed, challenging fellow classmate Kasuki Bakugo to races. Surprisingly, Bakugo won most of the races in the beginning of the training, but through Iida's pure determination he was later able to win most of the races. Jiro focused on strengthening. Denki focused on making the electricity not be as self-damaging to himself after overusage. Kirishima focused on strength by training with his best friend Bakugo and increasing the durability and abilities of his quirk. Ojiro and Izuku trained purely with martial arts, with Ojiro surprisingly winning most time thanks to using his tail. Siro pushed his tapes to the limit. Koji Kota focused on using his ability to command animals better and increase the range of his quirk. Tokoyami trained with his quirk Dark Shadow in the darkness. Todoroki either trained by getting better control, lessening the strain of overusing his ice or fire on himself, or he would train with Izuku, Midoriya or Katsuki Bakugo in the gravity chamber. Izuku accidentally put the gravity setting to ×20, but when Izuku was going to put it down to 10x, Shoto stopped him, not wanting to be left in the dust by Bakugo or Midoriya, and through sheer determination was able to adapt and overcome 20x gravity in a much shorter time than either Midoriya and Bakugo did beforehand. Mineta. Well, he tries, and that's all that matters. Ochako Uraraka increased the weight of her, the stuff she can lift, by using the gravity chamber or trying to decrease the effects of nausea. Sato focused on eating and training at the same time. Yaoyorozu trained along Sato, but instead of physical gains while eating, she constantly produced objects, which helped her produce materials and objects more quickly. After a long day of training, the students relax and Since Pixie Bob said the students won't be given food, the students would just have to make the food themselves. And with a combined effort from the class they make a curry for themselves, but Izuku notices Kota being missing and finds his key in a cave on a cliff and hands out a plate for him and has a conversation with Kota about heroes and Kota's dislike for him and how his parents wear the water hose. And Izuku realizes his problem isn't just heroes, it's quirk society in general, which Izuku feels for him as he was discriminated for most of his life for not having a quirk, and tells Kota about how he had a quirkless friend who was bullied, but Kota refutes and leaves. On day 3 of the camp in the evening, a fire erupts and poisonous gas floods the forest where a lot of the students are, and Izuku notices the fire and jumps up into the air. Kaioken X3. Izuku yells and sent a gust of wind to extinguish the blue fire. Izuku then realized that they might be having a villain attack and quickly goes to Kota's location to check if he was safe. He then sees a large villain about to crush the small boy, and when the big villain lays down his foot he noticed that the boy disappeared and then looks behind him to see Izuku Midoriya with an angry look on his face. "You're that kid that won the sports festival," the villain says. "Yeah, I get that a lot now, give me a second." Izuku then throws a ki blast onto the floor, blinding the villain, and Izuku then grabs onto Kota, teleporting him to Mandalay. Auntie. Kota goes to hug his aunt, thankful for Izuku saving his life. Now Izuku will go back to deal with that villain so other students won't be harmed by him. "Where did that kid go?" the clocked villain wonders, staring at Izuku. "Away from you, that's all that matters," Izuku says coldly. "That sounds like someone who wants to be a hero. Your kind show up everywhere calling for justice, and luckily for me I was the one tasked with killing you, Midoriya, wasn't it?" The blonde villain known as Muscular says. "It's Deku to you, and this is no way my last fight. But it's yours," Izuku responds. "I'll cut straight to the point and I am gonna make you bleed." Muscular took off his cloak and lunged at Izuku, who blocked his punch with his arm, and Midoriya responded in kind by punching him in the gut, sending him back. "You might be harder than I thought, but I am nowhere near finished." The villain's arms bulked up even bigger, attacking Izuku, who was dodged down and swapped Muscular off his feet and charged a ball of energy in his hand and throwing it into Muscular's face, knocking him into a mountain. "Aw, that's it, you will die alongside everyone you love." Muscular gets up with his face scared by the blast going all out, turning into a blob of muscles coming straight at Izuku, who was barely able to dodge out the way. "Damn, he is faster," Izuku thinks. "You're not the only one who can double your strength, in fact I can do better." Izuku begins to yell as a giant red aura surrounds Izuku's body and he yells, "Kaioken X3." This shocks the villain. What's this? Muscular loses his composure. "It's the Kaioken. You villains weren't around to see this, but this is the power I used to take down the hero killer, as it increases my strength, speed and overall stats by the amount I need, but since you're going all out I might as well too." Izuku begins to scream louder, being even heard by Eraserhead, Wild Cats and everyone else. Is his power doubling? No, quadruple, not it's. Muscular is in awe, cut off my Izuku yelling. Times 10. Kaioken by 10 inches, Izuku yells, being covered in a deeper red aura. Izuku dashed around Muscular, just being a blur to him. Over here, Muscular looks to see Izuku right in front of him. Izuku delivers a punch to his gut, causing Muscular to spit out blood. "It won't work. I don't care how far you push your quirk, I will defeat you." Izuku then throws Muscular into the sky, and Izuku notices the strain is finally taking its toll on his body. "My body won't hold up for long, so I need to end this now," Izuku says out loud. Izuku roars as the blue ball of energy erupts out, his hands hitting its target direct on. Izuku powers down, looking at the unconscious body of the villain that killed Kota's parents, and fires galactic donuts at him to restrain his body, and he also gets a senzu from a small bag of senzus he got from Korin before going to the training camp. Izuku teleports to Mandalay and puts the villain down. "If I am a target, then that means others are targets too, like Todoroki or Kacchan." Izuku thinks and quickly teleports to his friends. Izuku teleports around and looks in horror as Tokiyami's quirk Dark Shadow is out of control due to it being night time, and also sees Mezzo there. "Mezzo, get out of here, I'll deal with Tokoyami." Izuku instructs his classmate, and Mezzo trusts Izuku that he can deal with Dark Shadow. Izuku dodges Dark Shadow's destructive attacks trying to think of a way of turning off Dark Shadow. Forced spirit fission. No, Tokoyami was born with his quirks. I can do that, and if I could risk making Tokoyami quirkless. Izuku thinks. He then sees Bakugo and Todoroki using their quirks to stop the dark monster. That's it. Izuku strikes an idea, jumping into the air. Hey, big, tall and darkly, Izuku brings the attention of Dark Shadow. Izuku then brings two of his hands between his face and shouts. Taiyoken. A large bright light appears, completely hurting Dark Shadow and forcing it to go back into Tokoyami, and they discussed what to do next. I think they are targeting you, Kachan. I heard from the same villain that killed Kota's parents that they want you. I think you should stay out of this, Kachan, as they might have something under their sleeve, Izuku says. No way in hell, I am running like a coward and we are the same strength, Deku. Bakugo lashes out. Kachan, like I said, they might have something planned, so keep a watch out. I'll go help the others, Izuku replies back before using IT to teleport to his fellow students. He saw a blonde woman pinning Sue to a tree and proceeded to dropkick the blonde villain off of her. Sue, are you hurt? Izuku asked, worried. No, but I think she stabbed Uraraka. Sue responds, finally getting some breathing space from Toga. Oh, you're the cutie I like. I wouldn't mind having your blood, Toga says, getting back on her legs after getting hit. Another quirk based on blood, right? Izuku asked the villain. Oh, you're interested in my quirk? I can give you an example. The crazy yandere-like girl charged for a stab, which Izuku dodged and knocked her down to the ground. Let me introduce you to Force Spirit Fission. Izuku then activated his technique, pulling away all the blood Toga had gotten and returning the blood to their owners, including Uraraka. All the blood you have ever took from someone. Gone, Izuku straight up tells the yandere. Hey, my BL, the blonde psycho said before Izuku knocked her out with a chop to the neck, knocking her unconscious and putting her with the knocked out muscular. He teleports to find out that not only Bakugo was captured but also Tokoyami. Damn it. Izuku teleports to where he can sense Tokoyami and Bakugo, but they aren't there. Where is Kachan and Tokoyami? Izuku yells at the villain, who lets out his tongue to reveal two marbles. No, Bakugo and Tokoyami are in there, Izuku says, shocked. If you are trying to save your friends, then you have to go through me, kid, the villain behind the blue fire said before firing his fire at Izuku. Hiya. Izuku sent out a strong gust of wind which stopped the blue fire dead in its tracks. What the? Dobby stutters before getting punched in the face by him. Well, that's all from me, the masked villain said before disappearing in the portal alongside Dobby. Izuku tries to dash to the portal, but it was too late. Damn it, Izuku shouts out loud, then starting to put his fingers on his forehead, but it's stopped by Uraraka, Asui and Ioma. Deku-kun, you don't know what you are going into. Everyone is in bad shape, even you, Uraraka tells him, and Izuku looks at himself and sees his tattered clothes and dirty and scratched body. Fine, Izuku says, disappointed in himself not being able to save Bakugo. Time passed and everyone went to hospital due to their injuries against the villains. Izuku stands outside of the hospital, still not forgiving himself for not saving Kachan. Midoriya. Izuku lifted his head to see Kirishima and Shoto. Quote, You still don't forgive yourself, don't you? Shoto speaks to Izuku, who looks down on the ground. It's because I wasn't strong or fast enough. I allowed them to take Kachan, Izuku told himself, grabbing onto a lamp post, accidentally denting it out of anger. What if we went and saved Bakugo? Me, you and Shoto can break into the villain base with your teleportation and rescue Bakugo, Kirishima offers. Izuku looks at his two friends and a note inside his pocket from Kota thanking him and telling him he is his hero. Yeah. Let's go rescue Kachan, Izuku says with newfound determination. You're going to go out there so recklessly. Tenya Iida appeared out of nowhere, who was listening all along. It's my fault they captured him, so it's my responsibility, Izuku responds. You are making the same mistakes as I did when I went to kill Stain in revenge. Did you learn nothing from that? We have to leave this for the heroes to do, not first-year students like us. Iida asked him. Iida, please, me, Todoroki and Kirishima are together on this one. We can do this. I know you don't like us breaking rule, Izuku was interrupted by a punch in the face by Iida which stunned Izuku for a second. Your thoughtless actions will endanger everyone Midoriya and end up like my brother and his class representative and a friend. I won't allow anyone to get hurt anymore, Iida yells emotionally. Everyone there was stunned by him. Iida, we don't have to go in guns blazing on this, it can be like a stealth operation quietly going in and out rescuing Bakugo, Todoroki tells Iida. Kachan is our friend, it would be terrible for us to not do anything about it. Izuku tries to convince Iida, rubbing his face after Iida hit him in the face. All right, I'll join you alongside you in the rescue, just promise not to get in any danger. Iida joins the Bakugo rescue team. Now comes the hard part of actually rescuing him. Chapter text. Shota Aizawa, dressed in a suit, was being interviewed by the press by the villain attack on the camp and the kidnapping of one of the students. You spoke about the students' safety, Eraserhead. But during the incident, it appears you urged them to fight. What was your intention behind this? I concluded that because we were unable to fully grasp the situation, it had to be done in order to avoid the worst possible outcome. What do you mean by worst possible outcome? You don't call 26 victims and one abducted the worst possible outcome. A news reporter responded. The worst outcome I assumed in that situation was that the students would be at their wits' end and be killed, Aizawa responded. The gas attack accounts for most of the victims. We have determined that it was a sleeping gas from one of the enemy's quirks. Thanks to the quick response of the students Ms. Kendo and Mr. Tetsu, there were no serious injuries from that attack. In addition, we are providing mental care to the students, but at the moment, we do not see any signs of serious psychological trauma. Principal Nezu budged into the conversation. Are you saying that it was a bright spot in this tragedy? Said another news reporter. We believe that the worst outcome is one that would have infringed on the future. Can you say the same thing for the kidnapped Bakugo? He enrolled at UA High with excellent marks and won the sports festival. In addition, during the incident with the sludge villain in middle school, he resisted the powerful villain alone, so he has a history of showing how tough and heroic he can be. On the other hand, the violence he showed in the finals and his attitude at the award ceremony show that he is not always very stable mentally. What if the villains kidnapped him because they had an eye on that? Kidnapping him with deceitful words, and dyeing him with the path of evil. What evidence do you have for saying that he has a future? The man continued to make an attempt to make the heroes look bad. I know it's his job, but he's being so aggressive, says hero Vlad King. Meanwhile, the Class 1A rescue team was ready to save Bakugo from the love with the team consisting of Deku, Todoroki, Momo, Kirishima and Iida. All right everyone, grab on, Izuku told his classmates as they all did what he said. They vanished and arrived at a bar. What the Deku? What the hell are you doing here? Bakugo yelled. Kachan, it seems you already broke out of the villain's grasp, Deku says, glad his friend is alright. Oh great, now these shits are here too, Shigaraki says angrily but ready to fight. Until a knock turned everyone's attention. Hello, this is Pizzola, Camino store, said a voice behind the store. There was silence for a few seconds before All Might came crashing in. Smash! All Might yelled. Kurogiri Gate. Shigaraki yelled at the purple-flamed Nomu. But before they could do anything they were restrained by branches as more heroes came into rescue, with Kami Woods using his quirk with Grand Toro arriving to kick Dabi in the face. Young Midoriya, Iida, Yaoyorozu and Kirishima, I don't know why you were here, but it's fine now. Young Bakugo, All Might told the students. I wasn't scared, not even close, damn it. Bakugo stutters. I am sorry All Might. I just wanted to help my best friend, I felt I let down. Izuku apologies. Don't worry young Midoriya, All Might says. But suddenly portals start appearing with Nomus coming out of them as all the pro heroes fought them and were mostly easily beaten. Suddenly Izuku started sweating and shaking. Midoriya, what's wrong? Iida asked his friend. That key signature. It's enormous, it's like All Might's but way stronger, Izuku shacked in fear. Bigger than All Might's, Iida responded in fear as well. The man levitated on top and the dust parted to reveal the great evil known as All for One. Tamura finally started thinking and making decisions for himself. I wish you wouldn't have gotten in his way, All for One said. The group stood all in fear, too shook to even move, and hallucinated their own deaths. I can sense you children. You can't hide, All for One said, which instantly scarred the whole group. Izuku needed to act now, and he couldn't afford to let any of his friends die. "Aw, that's it, Kaiokenx20. Izuku yelled and charged at All for One. "No, young Midoriya, don't do it," All Might yelled. "Kamehame, ha!" Izuku yelled, firing all he had at All for One. Izuku flew down to the ground exhausted, but it revealed that All for One tanked it. That's not possible," Izuku stuttered. "I will be honest with you, child, if it wasn't for these new powers I gained from you, I would have been injured a lot." All for One slowly walked up to Izuku. "Me?" Izuku questioned, shocked. "After your little performance at USJ and the sports festival, I knew your power would be able to completely get rid of all of my quirks, so I began researching and found the great inventions made by the genius Dr. Gero over 100 years ago, and how he gathered data from his enemies to create the perfect being. So I let my scientist create a similar robotic fly which would gather data from not only you but from everyone, which gave me all of your abilities and where you got them from," All for One narrated. "Now to avoid you from taking them," All for One said sinisterly. He teleported in front of Izuku instantly, with Izuku not even being able to comprehend All for One's speed. "Goodbye, hero," were the last words AFO said to Izuku before punching a hole through Izuku's chest, shocking everyone. Chapter text. Time stopped as All for One seemingly killed Izuku. "Deku!" Bakugo cried out, seeing the motionless body of his childhood friend. While Bakugo would never admit it, he had grown fond of his classmates over these months and was finally able to be friends with Izuku again, becoming good training partners. "Midoriya!" everyone else shouted emotionally. "No, you're going to pay for that, All for One." All Might charged at All for One, who was able to top All Might in his tracks with his hands before punching All Might right into the face, sending him into rubble. All Might got out of the rubble and sees All for One right in front of him and sends a death beam at All Might, who barely dodges and responds with his own punch, which All for One uses his portals to grab Gran Toro and forces him to take the attack. "I am so sorry." All Might apologies to his mentor. The rescue team used this opportunity to go up to Izuku and see if there is any chance of him being alive. "Midoriya, you can't die on us," Iida cries over the body of Izuku. Izuku's eyes open to say a one thing. The bee bag, I nay need the bean," Izuku said very weakly before coughing up blood. "The bag." Momo saw the bag on Izuku's waist and opened it to see a bunch of green beans and feeding it to Izuku. After slowly eating the bean, Izuku's eyes fully opened and jumped up. "Thanks for the sensu yaoyorozu." Izuku thanks his friend. "I need to find Kachan so we can perform fusion again, as that's the only way we can realistically beat All for One," Izuku explains to the team before teleporting to Bakugo. "Deku, you're alive," Bakugo stuttered, seeing his childhood best friend alive. "I used a sensu anyway, we need to fuse into Deku again, Kachan," Izuku explains to Bakugo. "Fusing again? No way," Bakugo yells back. "Katsuki, put aside your damn superiority complex for 1 second. If we don't fuse, All Might is gonna die, your family is gonna die, and if we don't do this, we are gonna die. Now let's save the world." Deku lets out his frustration, which shocked Bakugo that Deku could be so full of anger. "F fine, but this is the last time," Bakugo said as they stood in position to perform the dance. Meanwhile, All for One was easily beating All Might until suddenly a bright light appeared and changed AFO's attention. "Ah, it's good to be back in action," Deku said to himself. "So you must be the fusion of the blonde and green brats. At least you might give me a warm-up to test me, to show the whole world a taste of my full po." Before AFO could finish his sentence, he was punched right in the face by Deku. "You talk too much, old man, and that's why I am going to finish this quickly," Deku joked before being fully serious. Deku started yelling as red electrify came off them and started yelled, "Kaioken." Deku yelled as the red aura surrounded him and his muscles became bigger. "Don't get so overconfident, young child," AFO yelled, also charging up his aura. The two looked at each other, waiting for the first one. to strike, but thanks to the Bakugo's side of Dekchan's impatience finally yielded and he attacked All For One, who was able to dodge out the way of Dekchan's punch and responded with a punch of his own, uppercutting the fusion, which sent Dekchan upwards but recovered, shouting, "Kaioken X10. Dekchan yelled, flying at All For One and propelling himself down with his explosions and punching All For One, who was barely able to guard himself by holding his arms up. "It's a shame I never got that Kaioken technique, but I won't need any multiplying technique to kill you children," All For One told the fusion, who was too blinded with wanting to beat All For One to notice him speaking. The fight became so fast-paced that no one present was able to keep up with them and only saw the aftermath of where they were. "It's time I put you in a home, All For One. A FUNNERAL home AHHHHHHHH. Dekchan created a yellow ball of energy in his hands. Explosive Kamehameha. Dekchan yells, but before he could fire it they diffused. "What the?" Izuku and Katsuki said in unison before All For One slapped them both, sending them into craters. "Gee god damn it, why did the fusion run out?" Deku wondered, slowly getting out of the rubble. "Didn't you hear what I said, child? I have all of your techniques from Yardrat including spirit fission," All For One said. "If that won't work, then what do we do?" Izuku was thinking of ways to beat All For One and one idea came to mind. Izuku ripped off his armor, now only having his white shirt on, and lifted his hands into the air and collected the Earth's energy, but it wasn't enough. "King Kai, can you tell everyone to give me their energy?" Izuku asked. "All right. People of Earth, can you hear me? All Might and others are fighting a great villain who has the power to destroy the very Earth. Please raise your hands and give them your energy." King Kai said to the inhabitants of Earth. "Go on, Midoriya, I am not using any of my energy anyway," Kirishima said, raising his hands into the air alongside the rest of the rescue team, where hundreds of little blue balls of energy were also present. Everyone from Class 1A to the civilians of the entire Earth gave their energy for the greater good. Meanwhile, on an island with a house on it, an old lady sat lifting her sunglasses off her face. "Grandma, what was that voice?" said a young boy with spiky hair and red bandana. He, it's all right, lift your hands into the air," said the grandma, remembering when her own grandfather did the same thing. While Izuku was charging the spirit bomb, All Might was trying his hardest to stall All For One. "Just a little longer," Izuku said impatiently. All For One knocked All Might into some rubble and slowly approached him. "Look at you, All Might. You're barely even able to remain in your buff form, aren't you? Even the teenagers put up a better fight than you did. Oh, how the mighty have fallen," All For One said, charging a death beam located directly onto All Might's head. "Hey, All For One," said Izuku up in the air with a fully charged spirit bomb. "What the?" All For One was shocked at the power of the spirit bomb. "This is the Combin D power of Earth, All For One. Hyaaa. Izuku then threw the spirit bomb with all his might. "No, this can't be happening," All For One said as the spirit bomb collided with him, who was able to hold onto the ball of energy. "God damn it, even with all this energy he is still holding his own." Kaioken. Izuku powered up to push it against All For One, but it still wasn't enough. "This is bad. Even with all the power of the spirit bomb and the Kaioken, Izuku is still unable to beat All For One," Momo said with sweat dripping down her face. "No simple child will never beat me. I have lived for hundreds of years." All For One finally gained the advantage against Izuku, pushing the spirit bomb right back at him. No. This can't be the end, this can't be all," Izuku yelled, trying with all his heart to push the spirit bomb back at him, but it overpowered him completely, engulfing him whole. "Deku!" Bakugo yelled. Midoriya. Iida fell to his knees at the loss of his best friend, while Momo cried. Todoroki and Kirishima gritted their teeth in anger, nothing more but to revenge their friend. Ha, what do I keep telling you all? I am the most powerful being in the universe and there is nothing that can stop me. All For One boasts and laughs maniacally. That was until a large rumbling suddenly starts shaking all across Japan. No, all across the world, as reports of shaking appear from the United States, Brazil, South Africa, Germany, and all across the world felt it. "What is happening?" said a confused All For One. Suddenly a blue beam of light appeared, revealing itself as the source of the shaking, and out of the blue beam appeared Izuku in a tattered white shirt with a hole in it, surrounded in a blue aura, with his eyes silver and hair standing up. Izuku looked behind him to see All for One. The true fight begins between All for One and Midoriya with this mysterious new power. Chapter text. Izuku's silver eyes stared right at All for One, who was stunned at the heat Izuku was emitting. Those eyes. They look like. All for One remembered those eyes all too well, remembering another man with those same eyes and aura. Flashback 100 years ago. You use your powers for your own selfish needs and murder thousands of countless people for nothing. A spiky-haired man shouted at a beaten-up young All for One. No, I will not be defeated that easily. All for One tried to punch the man, but he simply tanked it, and the man's pure power made punching him break his hand. Ah! All for One shouted in pain, falling to his knees as he looked up at the disappointed man and stared deeply into his silver eyes. That was one of the few times All for One felt genuine fear. Present. No, this will not end like it did before, All for One yelled before firing a bunch of ki blast at Izuku, who effortlessly dodged the blast while slowly approaching All for One. Stay back. All for One tries to let out an energy blast, but Izuku blitzes him and holds onto the villain's arm tightly. You won't harm anyone no more, Izuku said, emotionless. All for One tries to sweep Izuku off his feet, but Izuku dodges and kicks All for One right in his face, breaking his mask to reveal his lack of face. Izuku, still in air, punches the air with his fist, sending a strong wind at All for One, which sent the villain crashing through rubble. All for One emerged on his knees, looking down at his hand. No, this can't be my limit. I won't be beaten to a 15-year-old boy. All for One looked at his bloody hand before charging his purple aura. All for One instant transmissions behind Izuku, but without looking, Izuku puts his hand behind his back to catch the punch. You already have, Izuku said sinisterly. Izuku then threw All for One into the ground repetitively before throwing him into the air and charging a blue ki blast at him, creating a large explosion in the sky. From the blast came a beaten up, steaming and barely alive All for One while Izuku looked down at him. Why isn't Midoriya finishing off All for One? He clearly has the power to easily wipe him out, Kirishima asked. Deku isn't planning on going straight for the kill. He is toying with him, slowly bringing him to death every single time he goes on the offense. Bakugo stays in astonishment, even scared of Izuku himself. Hey, it looks like I really am beaten, All for One says with a smirk which surprises Izuku, as All for One has a sudden tonal change. But if I am dying, I am taking the eighth wielder with me. All for One then quickly turns towards All Might's direction, sending a large energy wave at him, annihilating All Might completely. All Might is dead. There was nothing but shock for the heroes as the number one hero died in front of them. Hehehehe, finally one for all is dead alongside that smiling idiot. Now come on child, arrest me. All for One laughs manically. Izuku grits his teeth at the loss of his childhood hero, wanting nothing more than pain and suffering for All for One. No, he wanted him dead. You bastard. Izuku finally craved to his emotions by punching All for One right in the face and then throwing him so high that he goes into the Earth's atmosphere, and Izuku teleports above him to knock him straight down to Earth, but he didn't stop there as Izuku teleported back to the ground to deliver a mighty kick so hard that it broke All for One's spine, but Izuku wasn't done. Not by a long shot, as he went and purposely broke All for One's bones finger by finger just to make his existence a living hell. Izuku had enough of playing around with him and created a ki sword. This is for All Might, Izuku yelled, but the blade didn't hit All for One as Bakugo, Momo, Todoroki, Iida and Kirishima managed to stop the ki sword, which shocked Izuku either through their combined force or Izuku's instincts purposely suppressing himself in order to not harm his friends, but either way the blade was stopped. Please get out the way, Izuku shouted at his friends, but they refused. Midoriya, All Might wouldn't want this. You've already crippled All for One enough. He is no longer a threat, and who knows what dark path you would go down if you did kill him, Momo explains to Izuku, who deeply thinks about his actions before he turns off the ki sword and collapses unconscious after the form had strained him so much, but he was catched by Bakugo, who was still astonished by that power. When Izuku woke up, he was at the hospital being greeted by Kirishima, Momo, Uraraka, Bakugo, Iida, Todoroki and his own mother Inko Midoriya. Izuku sweatie, I thought you were dead. Inko cried and hugged her son, and Uraraka couldn't help but cry as well. It's all right, Mom, I am fine. But all might I let him die? Izuku said sadly. It wasn't your fault, Izuku. It's like you're a zombie in that glowy state of yours, you must have had no control of it. Kirishima tries to reassure his friend. No, I was fully aware of everything in that battle. The spirit bomb must have triggered that transformation and I was mad. Not finishing the fight when I could have. Izuku said in anger. Actually, is it all right if I budge in? King Kai said, which shocked everyone. What the? A speaking voice. Show yourself, intruder. Were the many things the group said to the voice in their heads. Yeah, I should probably introduce myself. My name is King Kai the First, and the god of North Galaxy, and trained Midoriya the Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. King Kai states, which shocks the group even more when they are speaking to literal god. Wait, teached meaning you gave him your quirk? Momo questioned King Kai. Guys, don't freak out about this or tell anyone, but I am quirkless and all this power came from me training on an alien planet known as Yardrat, where I learn about a power source named Ki, which allowed me to create things like energy beams. I know this might sound crazy, but you trust me. Izuku tries to explain it to his friends. They all look silent for a second before saying, from all the crazy things you have done, it's hard not to believe what you are saying, Kirishima says. Wow. Thanks guys, Izuku says happily that his friends believed him. So what do you have to say, King Kai? Izuku asked. There are powerful wishing orbs on your planet known as the Dragon Balls, which can grant any wish within the wish-granting dragon, Shenron's power, King Kai explains to the group. Chapter text. So how we find this Dragon Ball exactly? Izuku asked King Kai and his friends. Maybe we can ask Hatsume about it. She is the expert in engineering stuff, Bakugo adds. Great, maybe we can ask her to make a radar to the Dragon Ball or something, Izuku responds happily. Midoriya, Bakugo and Uraraka go to see Mei the next day. Hey blonde, you ready to be my guinea pig for my babies again? Mei said while weirdly hugging Bakugo. Gee, get off me, Bakugo yells with a slight blush on his face while Izuku and Uraraka stared weirdly at the two. Are they a thing? Uraraka thought, and Izuku just smiled. Kachan has been training a lot in the gravity chamber, even more than me, so when he felt like he reached his limit with the gravity, he went to Mei for upgrades and new ways of training, which Mei was delighted to see, spending a lot of time together, Izuku whispered to Uraraka. Anyway, we need your help with something, Izuku explains. Oh, you want better training equipment? Gravity room modifiers? Mei asked with excitement. Well, not exactly. We need you to create a radar for some orange orbs called the Dragon Balls. They emit a faint electromagnetic pulse, so would it be alright if you could help us with that? Izuku asked nicely. I will do it, but I need one thing. Mei asked sinisterly. I want Blondie to be my test subject for my babies for a full month free. Mei points at the angry blonde. Deal. Izuku immediately says. What did you say, you stupid dolt? I didn't agree to shit. You. Me. Outside. Now. Bakugo says angrily. The two then charged out of the building to spar in a wasteland. Uraraka sighs at the two. Alright, it looks like I am gonna get to work on it. Mei said enthusiastically. Meanwhile, back to Midoriya and Bakugo. They are fighting in a wasteland as they battle, standing on top of a large rock, fighting for the advantage as they are engaged in a grip. Come on Deku, show me your Ultra Instinct form. Bakugo yelled. I can't do it, Izuku replied. What? Bakugo replied in shock. I guess I was pushed to the edge against all for one and did it accidentally, Izuku explains. Oh. Then I will attain an even greater power. Bakugo says smugly. Hold on, Kachan. Izuku tried to calm Bakugo down. Shut up. You are the last person I will ever let surpass me. Bakugo said angrily as he kicked Midoriya into some rocks, but Midoriya recovers safely. Kachan, we can get even stronger. Izuku says with smile, going into his fighting pose. Of course, we have no limits to our power. Bakugo strikes his battle pose as well with a smile on his face too. The two then charge at each other. Some time passed while Mei was working on a dragon radar. Shota Aizawa had come to his students' parents' home to discuss about their kids still attending UA High, with all of them being convinced to keep their kids in UA except for Inko Midoriya, who was cautious after seeing her son nearly die twice, but after some convincing from Izuku and Aizawa she accepted letting her son still attend UA and also let him be in the new UA dorm system alongside his other classmates. The day the class come to the dorms they are met by Aizawa. "Yo Midoriya," Denki said alongside his other classmates started crowding Midoriya about him beating All for One and being stronger than even All Might was. "Stop crowding Midoriya. Anyway, we are here to introduce you to our new dorm system where you would be for the rest of your UA days." Aizawa begins the tour of the dorms, showing where everything is. It even had its own gravity room for students to train in. After they all get settled into their dorms, the girls decide to throw a contest for the best room. They invade Izuku's room to find a giant poster of All Might by his bedroom, Izuku's clothes and training gear, with one of them being a blue training shirt with a weird black symbol on it. "Huh, what brand is this?" Mina picks up Izuku's shirt and she immediately falls to the floor. "Ah Midoriya, what is this?" Mina says weakly, barely able to pick the shirt up. "Oh, that is just one of my shirts I use for training. It weighs over 500 pounds. Izuku picks up the shirt easily. 500 pounds. Everyone screams in shock of what Izuku must be lifting every day. They move on to Fumikage's room, which is dark and gloomy as expected. Yuga's room is a complete contrast to Fumikage's room. None of the girls want to into Mineta's room for very reasonable reasons. Tenya and Mashirao's rooms are very bland and simple. Fast forwarding to the end of the Room King contest, with Rikido winning due to his amazing cakes everyone tasted. The former 1A rescue team members alongside Uraraka meet with Suyu afterwards, where Suyu admits she was disappointed in them for going to save Bakugo despite her pleading not to, which lead to her breaking down emotionally. "Su, I am sorry for everything. I lead the charge in that stupid rescue mission where I awakened that power to defeat All for One, but I got bitter and wanted to torture him, which lead to All Might's death. I am sorry," Izuku said emotionally to Su, and they all embraced in a big group hug, promising to not be reckless like last time, which nearly cost the life of Midoriya twice. Afterwards, Midoriya and Bakugo return to Mei and gets handed the dragon radar. "I will do this, Kachan. This isn't your fault to redeem," Izuku says to Bakugo before flying off. The radar started beeping, revealing the Dragon Ball near him, which appears to be on some island with a house on it. Why would a house be as far back as here? When he lands down, he knocks on the door and it opened to reveal an old lady with sunglasses. "Well, hello there, young man, what brings you this far?" says the old lady. "Well, I am wondering if you have a thing called the Dragon Ball," Izuku asked, trying not to sound crazy. "Oh, I do have a ball I found near my island a long time ago." The old lady then goes into her house to show an orange ball with 4 stars. Izuku's radar beeps incredibly hard. "Yes. That must be it," Izuku exclaims, looking very eager to get the ball, and the old lady notices this and grins. "I will give this to you if you win this fight," the old lady says confidently before yelling, "Goku." The old lady yelled inside her house, and Izuku heard footsteps quickly running down the stairs, revealing a small boy with spiky hair and a red bandana. "What's up, Grandma?" "Huh, who is this guy?" the young boy asked. "This boy wants this special ball I found and I challenge you to fight him. If you win I keep the ball and if he wins he gets the ball," the grandma says. "Wow, a fight. Come on, give me your best shot." The kid went outside into his fighting position. Izuku didn't want to fight, but if he had to he would hold back. Goku charged at Izuku, who was able to dodge all of Goku's attack. Izuku then dives down out of Goku's attack and swipes him off his feet, but Goku while midfall throws a ki blast which shocks Izuku enough for him to get hit. It seems like he isn't the only one who knows about ki. "Come on, fight me for real." Goku Jr. charged at Izuku, was able to catch his punch and then flick him in the face, which sends Goku Jr. into the ocean. Crap. I must have not held back enough. Izuku panicked, he might have killed or injured a child. But suddenly the small island began shaking, which shocked Izuku, but the grandma smirked, knowing what is going to happen next. A blinding golden aura splits the sea as Goku Jr. comes out of the sea with golden hair and green eyes. "Alright, you're pretty strong. But this ends now." Goku charges at Izuku, who struggles to dodge Goku till he gets punched in the face, which sends Izuku far into the sky and he stops in the middle of the air. This kid is insane. He suddenly turns into this weird golden form and he is able to completely keep up with me. If he was at the USJ or sports festival he would have mopped the floor, the Nomu and everyone at the sports festival, Izuku thought before smirking. Not bad at all. Suddenly Izuku's aura turned red. But I'll like to see you take on Kaioken. Izuku screams, which shocks Goku Jr. as Izuku charged at him, kicking him into the air before flying up and knocking Jr. down to the ground. Izuku's aura disappears. You done? Izuku asked. Nope. Still got one more thing to use. Goku Jr. said as he began charging his attack. Came. The attack name shocked Izuku but kept his composure, also charging his own Kamehameha. The two yell out their attack and when they clash they are almost equal, with Izuku with the edge. Kaioken. ×4. Izuku yells, fully overpowering Goku Jr. but before the blast could hurt him Izuku teleported in to save him, which Goku Jr. drops to base form weakened from using so much ki, and Izuku smiled at him, enjoying the fight he had. You two did well out there now, and since you lost Goku we have to give this young man his award, the grandma says, giving Izuku the Dragon Ball. Wow, thanks, this means a lot. Izuku thanks the old lady and flies away. That kid reminds me a lot of my grandpa, and so do you, the old lady says. Really, Grandma Pan? Goku Jr. says excitedly. Yep, in fact you have the same hair as him. Pan chuckles as she pats her great-great-grandson on the head. Izuku placed the Dragon Ball on the ground and says, Almighty Dragon, come forth and grant my wish. Izuku says to the ball. Izuku was expecting the dragon to come out but it didn't work. Shenron, am I doing this wrong? Izuku struggled to understand what he was supposed to do. Come on Shenron, please. I need to fix my stupid mistakes I messed up on. Izuku started breaking down, thinking of all the people he let down. All Might is dead because of him. I should have known this was some stupid myth. Izuku threw away the ball away. Izuku was about to leave until a voice called out to him. You have to collect all 7 Dragon Balls, you dummy. I am surprised Pan didn't tell you that. Izuku looked up at the mysterious man talking while holding the 4-star Dragon Ball. Hi, I am Son Goku, the Saiyan said, greeting the teen. Izuku looked in awe. Wait, he looked exactly like a grown-up version of the kid from the beach, except with a bright blue GI and dark blue bottoms, also having a red pole on his back and a monkey tail. You are getting strong, Midoriya. I saw your fight with All for One and achieving Ultra Instinct. Wow, I wish I was that talented at that age, Goku tells Izuku. Yes, but I got cocky and let my favorite hero die because of it. Izuku replies. That's a part of becoming a better fighter. Nobody is born perfect, Midoriya. A true martial artist keeps on improving, not just in technique and power but as a person, and this is just the start of your journey, Midoriya. I promise that. Goku teached Izuku, placing a shoulder and smiles, thinking of when he was Izuku's age fighting King Piccolo and growing stronger. Thank you. I just wish that All Might could be back right now like nothing ever happened, Izuku wished. Well, as you wished. Just don't tell Dend about this. Goku snaps his fingers and it made a bright light. Wait. What did you do? Izuku asked. I brought All Might back to life. Goku says like it was nothing. Wait, you're the wish-granting dragon. Izuku says, shocked. Well, yes, but technically no. Around 100 years ago I was offered by Shenron to go and train with him and become one with him, and I accepted, Goku explains. Wow, thank you so much, Goku. Izuku thanks the dragon god before Goku started becoming transparent. I'll be watching your process, Midoriya, and I promise the future is gonna be great. And also keep an eye on Goku Jr., he has a lot of potential. Goku cheered on before vanishing. All Might woke up like death was a dream in the same place, with everyone shocked at the sight of the former #1 hero being alive, which everyone was overjoyed over, especially Class 1A in the Height Alliance dorms celebrating after watching the TV in the main lobby together. Bakugo stands behind a wall listening to the TV while smirking, knowing who was behind All Might somehow coming back to life under mysterious ways, and then sees Izuku walk in and gave Izuku the thumbs up. Come on Deku, everyone's been missing you all day, Bakugo says. The two then walk and greet all of their friends in the lobby. Sometime later All Might would retire from hero work, with most people coming to the conclusion that he was retiring due to his age, but All Might was hiding an injury for the past 5 years which weakened him over time and secretly has a successor to his power. One for all, passing it on to a blonde third-year student in UA before even Class 1A, where even in UA, and his name is Mirio Tagata, also known by his hero name Lemillion. He has made great process in making one for all his own quirk, becoming the most powerful student in the third year by far. The future is bright for Hero Society, with new powerful heroes like Deku, Bakugo and Lemillion coming onto the scene, but with powerful heroes also come powerful villains. Find out next time on Deku, Hero of Yardrat. Chapter text. UA has transitioned into a boarding school and Class 1A begin their new life living at UA, and the first goal for Class 1A now is to get their provisional hero license in an exam which would allow Class 1A to use their quirks when people are at risk. Aizawa wanted to start by wanting the students to invent 2 more special moves beforehand. Izuku already has enough moves and techniques to his name. Bakugo decided to combine his quirk and ki to create 2 new techniques. The Big Bang Attack. Mixing ki and his quirk, he creates an orange ball of energy, and he previously used this in the fight against All Might in the final exams. He also has one final attack he is hiding, probably because how destructive it is he decided to keep it as a trump card. During everyone's training, Class 1B alongside Vlad King came in with Monoma coming in boasting about how Class 1A will fail but 1B will thrive, but Aizawa remarks about how Class 1A and Class 1B test will be taken on different venues, much to Nito's disappointment. Shota tells his students that the chances of them to receive their provisional hero licenses in their first year is extremely small due to going up against better trained and experienced students, but everyone seems pretty confident due to the presence of Deku and Bakugo encouraging them that they can get through it. The remaining days of training came and went, and the day of the exams came with Class 1A being taken to Takoba National Stadium from bus. I wonder if I can get my provisional license, Mineta worries for the test ahead. Mineta, it's not about whether or not you can. Go and get it, Aizawa tells his smallest student. Right, of C course. Mineta stutters. If you can pass this test and get your provisional licenses, you'll hatch into semi-pros. Do your best, Aizawa motivates his class. Let's all call out the usual. Ready, set, plus. Ultra. While Kirishima said this, a student from another school shouted it with him, which caught mostly everyone off guard. This was revealed to be the overexcited student from the opposing hero school, Shikatsu High School, Inasa Yoarashi, who apologies very weirdly to Class 1A but wished them the best of luck afterwards. Eraser, is that you? It is you, a lady said to Aizawa, which stunned him, not out of being scared but being extremely annoyed. The class is then introduced to teacher Ms. Joke, a close friend of Aizawa and head teacher of Class 2-2 at Ketsubutsu Academy High School, who instantly recognized Izuku from the fight against All for One. Oh, it's you. I am Shindo. UA this year has been a lot of trouble after trouble, but with someone amazing as Izuku Midoriya here, I full-heartedly believe that you can get over it and become great heroes. A heart of fortitude is what I believe all heroes should have. Yo Shindo of Class 2 says proudly, which makes Izuku feel awkward with all this talk towards him and Shindo grabbing his hand. For this exam the classes have to place lights on them which light up upon contact. If an opponent lights all 3 of them up, it counts as a defeat and elimination. Class 1A go into the simulated area similar to that of the entrance exams, while Aizawa and Ms. Joke watch from the stands. Everyone, don't get too separated. Let's move as a group. Midoriya leads the class. He is the class president after all. Yeah, Uraraka trusts Midoriya. Yeah, right, this isn't a field trip. Bakugo goes against Midoriya's orders. It's hard for me to use my power in a big group. Todoroki also splits from the group. Izuku simply sighs. Why does he have a feeling someone else experienced his teammates not staying in the group? Meanwhile, in the afterlife, a certain half Saiyan sneezes. Midoriya still keeps with the plan of remaining in a group. First test start, said the announcer beginning the exams. Class 2 appears from the mountain throwing projectiles at UA. Izuku jumps up the air. Ha! Izuku lets out a large ki that sends such strong wind it sends the projectiles right back at Class 2, which they manage to dodge. Whoa, that was close, but we should be weary of Deku. He fought all for one like it was noting, Shindo says. Class 2 student Shiku Makab uses his quirk to make more projectiles for the class to throw at Class 1A. Another student used his quirk to throw them underground, making it unpredictable for where the projectiles are. 2 can play at that game. Jiro, let's show them. Midoriya asked for Jiro's aid. Let's go Midoriya, we will handle this. Sound amplification. Jiro replies, placing her cords on the ground to send a wave to stop the projectiles in their tracks, while Izuku lays key mines in the ground which are also successful in stopping them. Shindo then touches the ground yelling, "Maximum force." Tremoring earth, he yells, breaking the ground around 1A. Izuku realizes the threat Shindo can cause for 1A and acts quickly, instant transmissioning right in front of him, catching all of Class 2 off guard. "What the?" Shindo says before being kicked right in the gut, which knocks him, stopping his quirk, with Izuku immediately teleporting back to 1A. Shindo's quirk had already broken some ground for UA, so some of them were split into groups, but Midoriya was by himself. Suddenly someone tried to hit Izuku's light, but Izuku managed to dodge in time thanks to his key senses, but to the human eye it was like she came out of nowhere. "Wow, you're so cool. I didn't want to miss the chance to interact with the prestigious school, and I want to know all about you all." Kami of Shikatsu High School appeared, trying to hit Deku but failing. Suddenly it was like she disappeared. Was her quirk like Taurus, but she can activate it? "But I've trained with Toru and I know how to counter it." Izuku then closed his eyes, only relying on his ki. When he felt her key signature behind him, he ducked out her attack and then hitting her, sending her into the air. He didn't want to hurt her since her quirk must work on gimmick instead of pure strength, so he didn't want to hurt her too bad. He then instant transmissioned up to her, hitting her pad, making it turn red before teleporting her to safety. Suddenly other examiners approach Uraraka, but her key is identical to Kami and not similar to Uraraka at all, so Izuku theories that Kami's quirk works like the captured villain Toga from the Love Invasion of the Forest Camp, so Izuku completely ignores it like a true Morbius male. "Aw damn it, I thought that would work. I really wanted to talk to him more." Uraraka then dissolves into Kami, now really disappointed. Deku looks at all the opponents surrounding him. "I guess they all saw my fight against All for One while I was in Ultra Instinct. I need to get this done fast," Izuku thinks. Deku instantly dodged a massive web coming out of the ground, firing a key blast right down at them. Meanwhile a barrage of projectiles comes his way, which he blows away with a ki eye. Giant jaws go to bite Midoriya, who uses an afterimage to make them think they got him. Then he saw a large group of other students flank from behind, firing their quirks at him. Izuku dodged out of the way before flying straight up into the air into the glare of the sun. Taiyoken. Izuku screams, which blinds all the students, giving Izuku a chance to eliminate them all. He quickly got in front of them and hit their buttons, eliminating them. Meanwhile for other members of Class 1A it was going pretty well thanks to them all training with Midoriya and Bakugo. Todoroki, being the third strongest person in the class, was able to easily beat a group of students from Saijin. Bakugo's group, including Kirishima and Denki, are ambushed by Seiji Shishikura, who targets Kirishima, turning him into a meatball. Seiji targets Bakugo next, who easily destroys Seiji's attacks. As the fight goes, Seiji plays tactical and manages to get some of his flesh on Bakugo. "No damn it, not to a emo shit. Like you." Bakugo yells, releasing his full power, which immediately disintegrates the flesh and also causing a large explosion. Midoriya notices Bakugo's ki spike. Both him and Bakugo agreed to suppress themselves in this exam in order for them to give their classmates a chance of passing. Bakugo powering up left a big crater of where they fought. By the end of the test all of Class 1A passed the test. In the next test it is told that 100 examinees that the destroyed battlefield, which has become a disaster site, will be their next and last stage for the Provisional Hero License exam. On this disaster site, the 100 examinees will be conducting rescue maneuvers. The second exam of the Provisional Hero License exam begins. A rescue scenario is being broadcasted to the examinees. Large-scale destruction of buildings have resulted in large numbers of victims. Izuku does brilliantly at this. Thanks to his Yardrat training, he can use the instant transmission technique to teleport directly to the victims and use Yardration healing to treat them. Bakugo looks at how efficient Izuku is using his techniques while Bakugo wished he completed his training on Yardrat and didn't fall impatient with Paibara and his teachings. Bakugo tries to ease his temper during the rescue operations and his anger notoriously comes out in the worst moments. Class 1A no Bakugo has developed a lot as a person during their many months in UA, but his anger issues never went away. Then pro-hero gang Orca arrives to cause some trouble for the students, as it would be unrealistic for heroes not be under pressure. Izuku looks at gang Orca knowing this would have been something in the test. "Don't worry guys, I got this, you go and rescue all the civilians while I'll stop them from attacking you." Izuku smiles at his friends before walking up to gang Orca. Izuku looks up at gang Orca on a piece of cliff and warms up jumping and stretching his legs before beginning the fight. "Let's go," Izuku says. Izuku charges at gang Orca while everyone else deal with the henchmen while saving civilians. Izuku kicks who gang Orca stops with his hand, but his hand is shaking from the impact, having difficulty holding the punch. Izuku then disappears and reappears underneath to uppercut gang Orca, which stuns Orca, but he responds with a hypersonic wave sending Izuku back from its force. Gang Orca speeds towards Izuku, but he notices a sound beneath him as key mines exploded underneath him. "You fell into my trap." Izuku laughed before instant transmissioning out of there. The attack leaves gang Orca damaged, but he gets up anyway but badly damaged. "You're a tough one, I'll give you that, but I am done warming up now." Izuku puts his arms up and screams, "Kaioken X10, as Izuku is absorbed by red aura before charging at Orca, who can't keep up with Izuku, who decides to end things. Kamehameha. Izuku fires a Kamehameha at Orca, who tries to reflect it, but it was no use as the dust settled. He was seen on the ground defeated as Izuku threw galactic donuts. Yokumiru displays the results of the exam after announcing students were scored based on how few mistakes they made throughout the second phase. The names of those who passed populate a large board in front of all the students. 91 of the 100 students passed the exam, including all of Class 1A. All of Class 1A celebrated in their dorms that they all got their license. Chapter text. Classes returned to normal after the license exams, and Aizawa introduced his students to the big three in all of UA. First was a thin young man with shaggy black hair, then a woman with sleek long light blue hair, and a more muscular and tall blonde young man with a big smile. These are Tamaki Amajiki, Najire Hado and Mirio Tagata. Najire rushes to Izuku when she sees him. "Whoa, you're the guy who beat all for one, right?" Najire went super close to Izuku, which made him blush. Yeah," Izuku said nervously. A pink aura appeared over Uraraka, scaring her classmates. It looked like she went ultra instant out of sheer jealousy due to how close Najire was. Mirio offers Class 1A the chance to team up together and fight him, to the shock of Class 1A, who thinks he is so full of himself that he would go against all of Class 1A including Izuku and Bakugo. The class and the big three go to Gym Gamma so Mirio can fight Class 1A. Izuku looked worried knowing that Mirio's ki was very big, maybe even comparable to him in terms of power, which would be big trouble for the rest of the class minus maybe Bakugo. "This is a good chance for all of you. Make sure you make the most of this experience," Aizawa told his students from afar. The battle began with Izuku charging right at Mirio, but he completely phased through him. Did he use some kind of afterimage like him? But even more weirdly, he got nude, shocking everyone there, with him using the opportunity of shock to get through most of Class 1A minus a few like Bakugo and Midoriya, who used their speed and ki senses to dodge him. "Power," Mirio said as he finished off most of Class 1A. "Alright Kachan, let me handle him," Deku told his friend. "No way, he is mine," Bakugo yells back. Izuku turns to Katsuki. "There is only one way to solve this." They stared at each other and put their arms out, yelling out, "Rock, paper, scissors." Repeatedly for around 20 seconds, shocking Mirio and Aizawa looked in embarrassment as a naked student stood in front of two of his students playing a game to decide who will fight him. "Yeah, I win," Izuku yells after he pulled a rock against Bakugo scissors. Bakugo looked at his hand. "Stupid scissors," Bakugo says in his mind as he then folded his arms, giving Izuku his turn. "Alright Mirio, you're pretty good. Let's go." Izuku warmed up before both him and Mirio charged at each other, but to the surprises of Mirio, Izuku shot the ground, causing Mirio to fall down. I can't hit you, so I'll just force you to move a different way, Izuku says. Izuku then dives down to deliver a kick, but Mirio sees in time to activate his quirk, with Izuku going straight through him below the destroyed ground, but he instant transmissions out of there before Mirio could respond with his own attack. So you need to activate your quirk in order to use it, Izuku says in the sky. Heroes don't say their weaknesses mid-battle, Mirio responds. Well, let's find out. Izuku begins screaming as a red aura appeared around Izuku. Kaioken X3, Izuku yells. Kaio wa, Mirio said before Izuku hit him square in the face, and Izuku teleported all around the gym, keeping Mirio in a combo as Mirio couldn't comprehend where or when Izuku attacked. K-A-M-E, H-A-M-E, H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A, Izuku screams as he lets out a Kamehameha which angled the gym. When the dust settled, it shone Mirio getting up on his legs. Whoa, you're pretty good, Izuku exclaimed. You too, I didn't expect to get my butt kicked by a first year, Mirio replied back. I am pretty sure you have more in you, right? Izuku said. Yeah, let's finish this full power, Mirio said as yellow lightning appeared around him. Izuku felt the immense power coming off of Mirio, so he responded in kind, ripping off his weighted clothing and throwing it to the floor, with it breaking the ground by its sheer weight. Kaioken X20, Izuku yells with a large red aura appearing around him. The bright yellow and red light blinds the arena as the two stare at each other. Let's go, Mirio, Izuku said with determination and charged at Mirio. The two clash, sending shockwaves all across UA with their punches alone, with no one except Bakugo being able to keep up with them. Both of them are evenly matched, with them both having something that gives them an advantage. Mirio can phase through walls and people, making it hard for Deku to hit him, but Deku also has a larger range of techniques to use and outsmart Mirio with. But it ends with the two staring at each other from different sides of the arena, both very injured but with one more punch left in them. Both of their fists hit each other. The punch nearly knocks both of them out. When they collapse to the floor, they both laugh, enjoying and thankful they got to fight such a great opponent. It made Izuku want to attain his Ultra Instinct powers again, and Mirio wanting to improve his control of One for All. Wow, I've never seen Mirio have that much fun in a while, Najire comments. Afterwards, back at the Heights Alliance dorms, Class 1A are discussing hero work studies. Izuku plans on training with King Kai again to improve his Kaioken levels. Izuku instant transmissions to King Kai. Yo King Kai, long time no see. Izuku greets King Kai. It's great to see you to Midoriya. Now I have some important task for you to do, King Kai says. Chapter text. Over 100 years ago. Frieza, Emperor of the Universe, is beaten down on his knees surrounded by smoke, but a figure comes out of the smoke, being Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, in a purple transformation. It's over, Frieza. It's time for you to finally die for good, Vegeta smirks. Damn it. Curse you, Vegeta. Frieza charges at Vegeta in his golden form, punching him in the face, but it leaves no dent in Vegeta at all, who simply smirks evilly. Vegeta responds with a punch to the gut, making Frieza spit out blood before Vegeta kicked him to the floor. Time to end this, Frieza. This is for my pride, the Saiyans, and everyone you ever killed. Hakai. The prince yells. No, it can't end like this. Frieza yells his last words before being erased from existence, leaving nothing but purple particles which fly into the air. Over 100 years later, present day. The head of the Frieza force stands in his chair thinking. Since the death of Frieza, the Empire has been in turmoil, with it being a shadow of its former self, as planets have rebelled and beaten the Empire on all fronts with him. Suddenly a soldier walks in. Commander, sir, we found something on a cold planet and it might be useful for the Frieza Empire. The soldier said. Bring me to this discovery, the leader said. The cold planet was currently under a snowstorm, so it was very hard for anyone to get around, but they eventually lead to a metal door which was opened, revealing 4 status pods frozen in time. The commander was in shock when he saw the first pod. It looked like Frieza. The commander opened the first pod, revealing a purple and white-colored reptilian person. Lord Frieza, it's good to have you, Ba. The commander was cut off by a death beam, nearly hitting the commander's head as a warning shot. I am not my brother, the mysterious frost demon said in anger. I am Lord Cooler, the eldest son of King Cold. Now where is that fool Freza? Cooler said. I am afraid to tell you Lord Cooler sir that Lord Freza has been dead for over 100 years. The commander responds nervously. So I've been frozen by that fool Freza. So I guess that makes me heir to the empire, correct? Cooler questions. Why yes sir, that would be correct, the commander stutters. Well, let's get down to business, Cooler smirks. So this Cooler guy. He is the emperor of the universe now. Izuku asked King Kai. Yes, he is the older brother of the tyrant known as Freza, and even if he is not as powerful as his brother currently, he is still a major threat to the universe currently, which is why I am recruiting you to stop Cooler, King Kai explained. He hasn't done anything bad yet, has he? Izuku asked. No, but judging by his family's past it might be better to deal with him sooner than later, as many years ago he wanted the throne to the Cold Empire, but his younger brother Freza feared his power, so he trapped his brother in ice for over 100 years. And now he is awakened, now emperor of the Cooler Empire, King Kai explained. All right, Izuku said before going on his mission to deal with Cooler. Cooler was relaxing on his throne surrounded by his most loyal guards. Since he became Emperor, Cooler with his new empire has reinforced their hegemony over the galaxy by bringing stability to his empire and bettering the under-equipped and inexperienced Cooler force, but something was missing. He was tired of signing papers and standing around doing nothing. He wanted a challenge in his life which would get his blood boiling for once in his life. Suddenly banging were heard from outside and the door to Cooler's throne room blew open. Cooler, your days of tyranny ends today. The figure revealed themselves as Deku. A child dares walk into my throne room to try and kill me. Cooler responds. I am no child, Cooler, I am a hero. Izuku charged at Cooler, who easily blocked his attack and slapped Izuku in the face with his tail. Izuku instant transmission behind Cooler to deliver a kick which sends Cooler flying out of his throne room and into the sky. Izuku flew up but was met by multiple death beams coming right at him, which he barely dodged except one which scrapped his shoulder, but he powered through, charging at Cooler where they are stuck in a deadlock. Impressive hero. I've been asking for a good fight for a while now and you are just the person to get me back in the fighting mood, Cooler says before firing two I-beams at Izuku, which Izuku barely dodges. Kaioken. Izuku yells and blitzes Cooler, punching him in the face sending him flying, which Izuku followed up by instant transmissioning behind Cooler again to kick him to the ground. Ha, me, ha, me, ha. Izuku fired down upon Cooler, who guarded himself from the blast, but the power of the blast still caused a large crater in the ground. Cooler got up on his feet, dusting himself up and then clapping, confusing Izuku. You should feel honored, boy. You're the first and soon to be last to witness my ultimate transformation, Cooler yells before beginning a transformation. His eyes glow deep red as he expanded in size with a helmet growing on his head. Well then, ready to kneel. The transformation was complete with a face mask shutting on his mouth, and through his sheer power Cooler's transformation created a strong wind that even Izuku struggled standing in. Such power. Izuku stuttered. Cooler's transformation may be even stronger than All for One. Izuku instantly teleports away from Cooler out of fear, but Cooler appeared almost instantly, kicking Izuku in the gut, with Izuku spitting out blood before being thrown through mountains by Cooler, still chalking him with his arm. Izuku comes back to the surface, seeing the approaching Cooler, firing multiple ki blasts at him, with all of them unaffecting the Emperor, who simply walks through them menacingly before slapping Izuku down to the ground through some mountains. Izuku came out of the rubble with torn clothes and a bloody face. Kaioken X20. Izuku yells while charging an attack. Kamehameha. The attack hits Cooler, but he only laughs as he flies directly through the Kamehameha, grabbing Izuku's face and bringing him down to the floor. Now let's finish this earthling. Cooler smiled before creating a giant ball of energy in his hand. You were a worthy opponent, but it's time for you to die. Cooler then threw the large ball of energy at Izuku, who comes out of the rubble looking up. Is this death? On a random planet where no one will ever know he died. No, this will not be the end. He has everyone supporting him, and it's like he can hear everyone he ever cared about cry in support. Deku-kun. Uraraka voiced in his head. Izuku. His mother voiced appeared. Deku. Katsuki voiced. Green. Mei voiced. Midoriya. The Bakugo rescue group of Iida, Momo, Todoroki and Kirishima voiced alongside all of Class 1A. When the ball engulfed Midoriya, a large flash appeared. What happened? Cooler said in surprise. What is this? Cooler asked, demanding an answer. It's over, Cooler. This is Ultra Instinct. Izuku yelled. Silver hair or not, I will destroy you. Cooler attacked, but Izuku effortlessly dodged all of Cooler's attacks with ease, not even bothering to look Cooler in the eye doing so, and Izuku responded with a gut punch to Cooler's chest which left him gasping for air. I don't have long in this form, Cooler, so I'll deal with you quickly, Izuku says calmly. Izuku charged right at Cooler, punching him right in the face, dashing behind him again with another punch now to the gut, and he does this again and again until delivering an uppercut that sends Cooler into the air. When Cooler is falling down to the ground, Izuku charges up a Kamehameha and then fires it right at him. Ha! Izuku let out a massive Kamehameha wave engulfing Cooler entirely. Cooler survives the attack but is grasping for air while very injured, not even having enough energy to move. Izuku looks down at Cooler with some remorse. Cooler seems to not be as evil as King Kai thought, as he only looked for a good challenge, and since he became emperor he hasn't even conquered any new planets. Izuku's then place his hand by the nearly dead Cooler, giving Cooler his energy. There, I gave you some of my energy, it's enough for you to survive, don't go conquering any planets, okay? You can be different than your brother and father, Izuku said before leaving Cooler's personal planet to go back to Earth. Damn it, Cooler said with his broken mask, getting up from the ground wondering why he was given mercy. Chapter text. Some days passed after the fight with Izuku and Cooler, with Izuku going back to Earth to gather at a meeting including students and pro-heroes. Apparently they are discussing the Yakuza and Shihasaikai, who have a way of creating weapons that can destroy quirks containing bullets with human blood in them, making everyone disgusted. Mirio told Izuku about a little girl named Eri who ran up to him scared of what seemed to be her father. Izuku and Mirio make a promise to save her. The heroes come up with the Eri rescue missions with pro-heroes and students spearheaded by Sir Night-Eye. With the meeting over, the students of UA discuss the situation at a table with even Todoroki and Bakugo present. Wait, Deku-kun, I just thought of something. Why can't you just teleport to the girl, grab her and then teleport her back to us? Uraraka gave an interesting question. It's much harder for me to track onto a key of someone I've never met before, especially for an energy as small as hers since she is only a little girl, Izuku explained. Why should we take the coward's way out anyway? Me, Deku and Smiley Face over there can wipe out the entire Yakuza with a glare, Bakugo comments. Yeah, but we should be weary of Shihasaikai and those quirk-removing bullets, Midoriya wonders. He wasn't scared for himself at all since he is technically quirkless, but for his friends like Kacchan or even Mirio. The next morning at 8 a.m., in front of a police station, pro-heroes and students alike partaking in the rescue operation have been given a detailed map of the Shihasaikai's secret complex underground facility, which they will use to find Eri, and are standing on the gates of the facility. While preparing, suddenly a large person burst out of the facility. Izuku notices the threat. Sorry police, but you have to stay away from this one, Izuku said before throwing a gust of wind that pushes the police away from harm while the pros handle the villain. What do you want? The villain said before charging at the authorities, but his fist is stopped by Yukio before being kicked in the gut by Izuku, knocking the villain to the wall. All right everyone, get in quickly, said the pro-hero Fatgum, ordering everyone to go into the facility. Police officers swarm in, arresting many members of the organization while the pros storm into the building where Night-Eye finds the secret passageway down, where they are greeted by more lackeys which are stopped by Bubble Girl. They are stopped by a wall which is so thick that even Mirio has trouble going through. Ga screw going in it, just destroy it already. Big bang attack. Bakugo pushes everyone out of the way to perform his special move which eradicates the wall easily. Suddenly the building started to warp, which confused everyone, but they moved on trying to maneuver through the strange location. Izuku, Mirio and Bakugo arrive to where Chisaki and others were with Eri. We are here to rescue that girl, said Mirio in a serious tone. Don't worry hero, this girl doesn't want you to rescue her, Chisaki states while Mirio can see the sadness in Eri's eyes. You don't do a good job at trying to convince us that bird face, Bakugo makes a remark. So, who wants to fight Overhaul? I already fought Bakugo, so I promised him next time that he would get to fight the next opponent, so that leaves you and Mirio too. Izuku was cut off by Bakugo flying at March speed. Screw rock paper scissors, he's mine. Bakugo charged at Kai's, hitting him, forcing him to let go of Eri, but was catched by Izuku, but Izuku started to feel dizzy as one of the villains used their quirks. Damn it, whatever side effect he has goes on me. Izuku stuttered, but Mirio came in to beat on the villain, knocking them unconscious with a kick while holding onto Eri. You all shouldn't be here, said the scared Eri. Don't worry, Eri, we promise that we will be your heroes. Izuku reassures Eri. Thanks, Mirio, for the hell. Suddenly a bullet came their way from someone dressed like a plague doctor, firing at them, with one of the bullets bruising Izuku's arm due to him reflecting one with his arm. Meanwhile, back with the fight with Kai's, he is getting demolished by Bakugo even after fusing with his assistant Shin. What's wrong? Can't keep up. Bakugo mocked, firing an explosion that destroys Kai's attack before charging at him again, knocking him to the dirt. Bakugo flew down with crossed arms, smiling. You know, I would call villains like you less like dirt, but that would be an insult to the ground floor, Bakugo mocks. Kai tries assembling a big arm to punch Bakugo, but Bakugo activates a new technique of his which instantly disassembled Kai's fusion with Shin he did earlier, with the remains of what used to be Shin falling onto the floor. What the? Kai said before being punched in the face. Forced spirit fission. It directly counters quirks like yours, like ice on fire. Bakugo smirks at his opponent's failures. I've not even taken off my weighted clothing and I am squishing you like a bug, Bakugo laughs. Izuku looks in the background. So he did learn something more than instant transmission from Yardrat, Izuku says to himself, smiling. No, I will not be made a fool of by the self-centered brat of UA. Chisaki yells until he sees the unconscious giant Rikio, which he then immediately grabs onto and disassembled, and then reassembled his parts onto him, creating a giant monster that grew and grew while every other hero looked in horror. Bakugo dodges the attacks of the new monster form of Chisaki. Hey Deku, you didn't bring any sensu beams, didn't you? Bakugo said while attempting to dodge the attacks of Chisaki before being slapped down by his last attack. No. Izuku tells him, also worried. Bakugo gets up from the rubble. Then this will be harder than we thought. But I think I have an idea on how to beat him, Bakugo explains. You want me to use the spirit bomb again, or? Izuku asked. No, you idiot, I am going to charge something up myself. Bakugo yelled before jumping up in the air. Ah! Bakugo placed his two arms in a T shape with yellow electricity around him. What is he up to? Mirio asked while holding off Chisaki. It's something big, I just know it. Izuku smiles at what his best friend is about to do, as he knows it all too well from training with him so much. Chisaki notices Bakugo charge something up and tries to attack him, but was immediately kicked by a red and yellow aura, with it being Mirio using crawling and Izuku using Kaioken in order to distract him so Bakugo can charge up his attack. What is this? Chisaki says in awe at its power. Hehehehe, you're about to become Space Dust Bird Face. Bakugo laughs almost evilly. Take this. Final flash. As Bakugo yells, as a large yellow beam came out of Bakugo's hands heading towards Chisaki at high speeds, who tries to stop the attack while Izuku instant transmissions out of way with Mirio. After an explosion engulfs the battlefield, and when the dust settled it reveals an unconscious Chisaki on the ground with all of his enhancements gone. Meanwhile, Bakugo was panting after using his ultimate attack. He, I win. Bakugo laughs exhaustedly. To be continued. I hope you enjoyed this story. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.